Welcome to the Horror Hangout, a podcast where film fans watch the best and worst horror movies of all time and talk about them. My name is Ben Errington, and today I'm joined by regular co-host Mr.
Andy Conduit. And hello, Ben, and by extension, everybody. How you all doing? Only Ben can reply.
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. I'm glad you're doing well. We're joined by a very, very special pair of returning guests. It's been a long time coming. We've been discussing. We got to cover the next bloody Phantasm movie. We're finally doing it. Firstly, writer and director Jake West, who has credits to his name, included but not limited to Razorblade Smile, Evil Aliens, Pumpkinhead, Ashes to Ashes, and recent hit Mancunian Man: The Legendary Life of Cliff Twemlow. Welcome back to the show, Jake. Hello.
Thank you very much, Andy and Ben. It's really lovely to be back, and obviously one of my favourite film series, the Phantasm films. So it's a pleasure to be discussing part 3 with you guys today, also known as Lord of the Dead.
Absolutely. We're super glad to have you on the show. And of course, we are also glad to have Mr. Aaron Truss, actor and producer, whose work includes Paradolia, Knox, The Rob Knox Story, Cult of VHS, and more. Welcome back to the show, Aaron. Hello.
Hello. I'm glad you said Lord of the Dead because I keep saying Lord of the Dance, and I had to remember that this is not a Michael Flatley movie.
Yeah, it would be a very different film if it was
more interesting. No, I'm joking.
So we've got Don Coscarelli on line 1. Get Truss off the air now. Get him off the air.
I'm telling you, just a few river dances in this movie.
The tall man probably has the right physique for it, though. He's ever so tall. I bet he does some wonderful footwork.
Yeah, exactly.
And the hymn could be the soundtrack.
Exactly, yeah. I can see that happening. Jake, why can't you get on board with this?
Well, I thought you got to live out your river dance fantasies in Sinners.
That is true, I did, but it could have done with a tall man or two.
The juxtaposition between heights as well, him and all those little lads that he's with.
Yeah.
That could be a stage spectacular. If we're going to be rebooting the series on the stage, come on.
Well, you start on the chorus line. You've got the tall man at one end, and you've got the little lurkers that tall to the other.
He's not actually that tall. It's just because he looks really tall in front of the lurkers.
Yeah, but he's quite a lot taller than the lurkers, to be fair. And Tim, for instance,
it's like a Gandalf, a Gandalf and Hobbit situation. Isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's the comparatively tall man.
Yeah, but the tall man, as we've said before, the tall man isn't as tall as Don Coscarelli, who was the tallest guy on set. Because Don is actually about 6'4", and the tall man's only about 6'2".
Oh yeah, Andy's obsession with the tallest man as well.
The tallest man.
The taller man is the director.
We will. Well, I did have a quiz. I did have a quiz for the end of the show, which is taller than the tall man. I've now scrubbed Don Coscarelli off of that list.
Sorry. If you would give me a bit of heads up on that, Andy, I wouldn't have done it.
That was going to be my duel because I'm like, he's the same height according to Google. He's the same bloody height, 1.93 meters.
We'll have to see if we get Kobe Bryant right or not.
Oh, Ben, you clearly haven't watched the previous episode we did because Jake's already discussed this.
Yeah. Well, they did get Angus Scrimm's height up because he was wearing lifts in his shoes, so he had about sort of an extra, but in real life, Angus isn't as tall as Don.
Yeah. I was also going to say that Michael Flatley is actually in a film, isn't he? He's in a spy thriller called Blackbird.
Written and directed by himself.
Although calling it a thriller may be pushing giving the word thriller a bit more heavy lifting than it needs.
This is action/thriller.
Phantasm 6.
Oh, I thought that was Amanda Holder then, but it's not. It's just.
But in fact, I would recommend Mark Kermay's his actual podcast on the Blackbird Michael Flatley review. It is genius. It's hilarious.
Okay.
If anyone hasn't seen it, it's well worth a watch.
I've seen it. Yeah, it is.
Is it worth a watch more so than the film? Yes.
Oh, you don't need to watch the film once you see that.
You don't need to watch the film to understand Mark Kermay's takedown of Blackbird.
Yeah, I mean, I think as far as vanity projects go, I think maybe Mr. Flatley sort of takes the biscuit on that one.
Yeah, there we go.
But an Aaron will be disappointed to know there's not even any river dancing in that.
That's a shame.
Or Phantasm balls.
There's no river dancing in it. What the heck? That's literally like 89% of the audience would have.
You can't go through a 20-odd year career having a nickname which is only shared between you and Jesus without it going to your head eventually.
I'll be
not using your special power in the Secret Service as well.
Yeah,
that's the only reason why he is a spy in that film, I presume. The legwork. Forget paperwork, it's the legwork.
He'd been really good at getting away from cowboys because they always shoot at your feet and make you dance, don't they?
I think
And
I
then
think
have
the
been
only
so
reason
entranced by his moves, going to kick their heads in.
I think the only reason he's the main character is because he funded the film.
Yeah, there you go. I mean,
No,
The harsh reality.
Does he want to fund Employee of the Dead?
will he be allowed to be in it?
He might want to be Hooban, I think.
Flatly of the Dead.
Mm.
Let's talk about your projects then that you've currently got going on. Should we talk about Employee of the Dead first? Because we've just bloody mentioned it. Don't mean to slide on in there, but why not? Let's talk about your debut feature film, which is currently what stage are we at with it, Aaron?
We're at a very early stage. It's been a year process just in terms of writing the script, and Jake's been an absolute godsend when coming to this, because Jake has the experience of all the pitfalls that come in trying to produce a low budget feature. And this is something I've never tried to do. I mean, Knox, the Rob Knox story, that's a documentary, cult VHS documentary. This is a narrative piece. And the odd thing is that I'm surrounded by people who make horror movies, and I'm going and making a comedy, which is sort of like a love letter to horror. And it's just been such an amazing process. We've had a read through with some actors. Huge shout out to Philip Rogers and Amy Bowden and Johnny Vavash. And, these guys came down one Saturday and we sat in a church hall. We just read the entire script. And I've never laughed so hard, honestly, just reading it and seeing the characters come to life was amazing. It's a shame Jake couldn't be there, but I think he was washing his hair that day. But yeah, it was just such an amazing experience. And at the moment, it's at a stage now where we're both really happy with it. My co-writer Joe Akers, he's really happy with it. So now we're just going out to see if we can get funding for this and make it happen.
Amazing. Sounds super, super exciting. So comedy by the ways of horror, would you say, or is it straight up a comedy with some horror elements?
There are horror elements to it, but it's not like One Cut of the Dead or anything like that. A lot of people assume, so there's going to be real zombies in it. No, not at all. This is actually based on a true story. This is about the time that myself, Joe, Rob Knox, and a few others were working on a student project. We were given 48 hours to make a film, and Jake often talks about this in terms of knowing if you have a location first, utilize it. And I thought, what's an exciting location that I could use? And I was working at Sainsbury's back in the day, and we ended up just shooting it on a night shift, and we waited until the shop shut.
Oh, wow.
Ran around the supermarket, getting everything we needed to get done, and then we were out the door just as they were opening up the shop. We legged it to the nearest cafe, and then had to head back to Wheeling, where I was at university, and then we spent another day and night in sleeping bags in the edit suite, and we managed to get it into the screening that was the following day in a pub. And we were knackered.
Okay.
I think my eyes were hanging out of my head, and sadly, it was the last thing that Rob ever worked on. It was after Harry Potter, and he never got to see it. But Jake really liked I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Jake, but Jake really liked the concept and the idea behind it, and we both agreed, wouldn't that be a good film?
Well,
I'm sorry, Jake.
Well, when that Aaron told me about the fact that he'd done this for real, I thought, wow, that's great. A bunch of people working in the Tesco night shift or Sainsbury's night shift they decided to use that as a location for a horror film and called it Employee of the Dead. And I thought, well, I'd love to see that short just off the back of that story. This is such a great thing because, as any filmmaker knows, it would almost be virtually impossible to get a major supermarket chain to allow you to use their store for your film. So what Aaron did there was a bit of a cheeky move, and I love the fact that obviously because it wasn't a commercial film, it was no problem in terms of getting away with it. But as a starting point for a movie about a bunch of filmmakers trying to make a crazy movie, I just thought it was a lovely thing. And obviously because it's related to Rob Knox, who your viewers may or may not know was one of Aaron's best friends who was in the Harry Potter films, but sadly got murdered. As a kind of tribute to him, it would be a beautiful thing to get that film made as Aaron's first feature. So I think it's a really beautiful film. In terms of genre, you're talking about horror. There's the horror in the film is more. the horror film, there's the film within the film, which is the actual horror film.
Yeah.
But in many ways, I would liken it. It's not, if people say, "Oh, is it like Shaun of the Dead?" Because everyone always goes, any zombie films like Shaun. This isn't a zombie film. It's a film about a bunch of filmmakers. So it's actually more like Son of Rambo in terms of what the type of film is in
Brilliant.
reality.
Okay.
I'm super excited for this.
It's
Like,
really
this is-
cool because, sorry to cut you off, Andy, but something that Jake has missed out here is that when you actually watch the film within the film, the idea is the film will be full frame as you see me now, but then when it cuts to the film within the film, the widescreen black bars top and bottom come in, and it's actually Jake who's going to be directing the film within the film. So it's got a different direction, different tone, different pacing.
Okay. Oh, right.
Yeah, well, that's well, Aaron kindly asked me if I wanted to do it, and I thought that sounds terrific. I'd love to make the so it's a bit like doing Razor-Based Marble, isn't it? It's like revisiting that kind of energy of what it's like making your first film, and to try and capture some of that excitement and the kind of craziness, the way you might approach it would be really nice. Although I'm a little bit perturbed about now that he wants all these Riverdale sequences in it, and we may have to go shoot it vertically now instead of it going widescreen. It's going to narrow in.
You're gonna have to get some stunt. You have to get some stunt legs.
That's what Flatley's for as well.
Yeah.
But it's going to be great if we can get it off the ground, and we're eyeing up some potential names to be in the film. One of them has actually kindly agreed to cameo, which I'm really excited about. If you know anything about my history and the people I've worked with, it's not going to take too much time to work out who that is. But the other side of it is, I want to bring you guys in, obviously, as well, because it's as meta as you can get.
Yeah, you guys are in the new draft as you.
Oh, wow.
This was now you've let that out of the bag, so I'm not spoiling anything. This is excellent news. When Ben shared it with me, I was like, it's the best thing that's happened to me all day. All year so far. Sometimes really good things happen, but this is right up there. Top 3 this year, easy. This is
breaking news for Horror Hangout.
This is
going to get these guys on the big screen.
Yeah, this is so much fun, and I love the idea conceptually. When I meet with folks like yourself, Jake, Aaron, and everyone else we meet at events like Fright Fest, and that we will do just a few short weeks' time, my favourite stories to hear are about the absolutely mad ideas and the creativity that independent filmmakers, when you aren't sitting on infinity $1 million of Hollywood money, have to do to get a film made. I love these stories, and there's so much hearing you guys talk about them, like the fondness that comes across and the laughs that you have. Like, I think it's such a wonderful thing that people don't get to see. So I am fully on board with
that's great.
With a film like this coming together. I will be there first opportunity we get to watch it, even if my face wasn't in there. And then and obviously we've got away with covering things that aren't strictly horror. I mean, we did Megan 2.0 this year, arguably not a horror film anymore. We'll do an episode on it. Get it in.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many things that we pay homage to a lot of horror films, and one in particular, Night of the Living Dead, which you have to really, and I think we do it in a really sweet way. It's not meant to be taking advantage of or anything like that. It's actually meant to be, it started with that film, especially for me on this journey. Even when I did the first Employ of the Dead, it started with Night of the Living Dead and Romero, and I absolutely love that film. I was going to ask if you guys had covered it yet, but you've already have. So I guess, but you haven't done Dawn, which I was curious about.
We've done the remake of Dawn of the Dead, the Snyder one, but not the original.
You've not done the original Romero.
We've not done 1990 Night of the Living Dead. If you fancied that.
Ooh, interesting.
Ooh,
pick your poison, Aaron. It's up to you.
Because I saw that one first before I saw the. No, actually, no, that's a lie. I did see the original first, then saw the. Okay.
No, I saw the 1991 first.
It was on VHS, and we had them lined up on the shelf. And I remember the cover for the remake looks cooler than the original, but yeah, I think it was one of those colorized versions that we had on video of the Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah,
so don't know why they did that.
You heard it here first.
But yeah, if I'm not working on Employ of the Dead, I've been stuck in that guy's basement down there working on Razorblade Smile.
Oh, stuck in his basement. I'm
segue.
hoping.
Well,
Wonderful,
I
wonderful
don't
segue
understand that because I live in a ground floor flat and I don't have a basement or a downstairs.
Where have I
you been
been?
hanging
I
out?
don't know.
Where have I been?
Is it somebody else's production? Razor Blade Smile.
So there we go. So Razorblade Smile, the 4K Blu-ray, is currently in transit. Is that the right way of describing it?
Well, I think that I sent all of the finished extras, is a ton of extras, over to get mastered. So it's currently in production in terms of the actual discs now. So we're going to be looking at getting, the first kind of builds and authoring done soon. So that will be looking to be released for Halloween in, this year.
Yes.
So that's you guys actually saw it last year at Fright Fest. So we're now a year out from when you guys saw it for the first time. But since then, I finished a load of extras, of which Aaron has been helping me subtitle all of them. He did an amazing job, and his friend Nacho has also done a load of great motion graphics. But we've got an absolute ton of incredible extras. One of them, which is a feature length piece. Another one, which is about, in fact, Fright Fest of last year, which features you guys. And we've even got the episode of the Horror Hangout that you did at Fright Fest with us in it. So so it's a feast for Horror Hangout
It's
fans.
a feast.
And,
yes, it is.
So kind of you to put that in, everybody. If you didn't get enough of us in your lives, viewers,
yeah, well,
listeners,
we can never have
give us
enough of you guys. And but that was also a very special screening last year. And one of the things that's actually made it more special and more poignant is, and I'm not sure if you guys know this, and I'm sorry if you don't know, but sadly, Christopher Adamson passed away a few weeks ago.
Oh, that's really sad.
Yeah, but you guys got to meet Chris and interview him, and you did the last on-camera interview with him, and it's a very beautiful and very poignant moment.
It was so lovely talking to him.
Yeah, because I don't know if you remember, but they were turning the lights out on you just at the end.
Yeah, we were there. We were getting the lights turned down.
And that finishes the extra about we've done a little tribute to him about about this because but he phoned me the next day after we had that screening, and he said how much he had loved it and enjoyed it. And just so people know, with Chris, it was very sad because he was battling cancer, and it finally, unfortunately, he lost his battle. But he was 75 years old, and but he was such a unique and interesting guy, and he was in 5 of my different projects over the years. So he's really missed. So just wanted to say that to you guys. But thank you for doing that interview. It's a really beautiful piece, and that's going to be on there as well.
It was wonderful to hear his passion for the project, and to have got the chance to sit with him just moments after he'd seen your restored version of the film as well. A film which, it is maddening to me that it isn't just so well known as well, because of all the things that it just predates. And it must have such a heavy inspirational piece. I have preemptively binned off my original Star Wars trilogy, so there's room on my shelf for it.
Fantastic.
Take a hike, Lucas, and
then forget Lucas. You get a bit of Jake West on your shelf.
Go to hell, Jackson. We've
Andy,
made
is that Underworld on your shelf? What's that?
There's no Underworld on my shelf. I'm here breaking the sexual tension between
you're
really
picking them apart
people.
because Reg, what a smooth talker Reg is when it comes to rocks.
Exactly.
Sorry, sticking very just with Razorblade Smile quickly. It would be great, Jake, if you would be up for it to do an official full episode on Razorblade Smile.
Oh, I would be
with you as some sort of celebration, maybe around about the release of the 4K.
Oh, I would be absolutely delighted to do that, and obviously. I will get you guys a copy ahead of time, so we could even talk for all the extras and stuff then, because believe me, there's about there's like about 10 hours of new stuff. Something like that. It's
Trust me, I've subtitled it all. There's a lot of special features on this Blu-ray.
Well, we've never done like a full episode with the filmmaker of one of the films we're covering. So I think.
That would be. I would be honoured to do that if you guys want to do that. I'm 100%.
We'd love to. That'd be brilliant. And then,
well, thank you guys. That'd be amazing.
Thank you, man.
We'll stay in touch, and so that will be coming up for Halloween then, just before then.
That'd be great. It's always good to do some sort of Halloween special. So let's get it in the diary as soon as.
Thank you guys. That's brilliant.
That'd be amazing. So get your shopping lists ready, everybody. And just to finish off Aaron's bit of news as well, any producers that are listening, a key consumer of media in a really key demographic for a lot of spend categories, would buy a copy of this film, if not 2, and go and see it at the cinemas as well, probably on a premium IMAX screening. So if you're thinking about opportunities for funding, your ROI is going to be maximized on this project. Get on board. Give us a call,
There we go. Clip that, Aaron, and just and that's what you're going to use when you go into anyone for funding. Well, listen to what Andy Conduit Turner's got to say.
Yeah, I mean, he's in the film, so yeah, definitely
He's in
listen
the
to
bloody
him.
film.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, wonderful news, exciting project.
Just want to add something in there quickly. Sorry,
Go for
Ben,
it.
before
Go
we
for it, man.
continue.
Yeah, of
It was
course.
actually, I really, really, really wanted Chris Adamson for Employee of the Dead. And there was a role in particular that I sort of sheepishly approached Jake after, because I interviewed him at Fright Fest as well. And I didn't really know him, as Jake puts it, when he was a scary, intimidating actor who was always, I like Jake's impression of him, when he talks about what Chris Adamson was like on set. But I saw him when he was very gentle and quite slow, and he had a cheeky grin. And the last thing he ever said to me was a question I posed to him, which I think you did as well, Andy, which was, what was the why do you think Razor Blade Smile has endured for so long as a cult movie? And he said, well, it's simple, really. Blood, gore, and tits. And that was the last thing he ever said to me. And I'll take that with me. And I'm glad I got those 3 words from him. But after I finished interviewing him, at some point I said to Jake, I really want Chris to play a role in the film. And that was kind of always the intention. But I honestly didn't know how sick he was. So it's a shame that I never got the opportunity to work with the guy. And yeah, it's a shame. It's just one of those things. But it's if he was around, I definitely would like to think that he would have said yes and come down for a day, and that would have been great.
He definitely would have done. He would have absolutely loved it and delighted in it. And one of the great things about Chris, he was always up for working in new filmmakers' projects, and he got a lot out of that. I mean, you'll see in the interviews on the disc about his attitude towards working with new talent, and he always found that very exciting. And he was somebody who wasn't driven by money; he was driven by creativity, and he really went all in on a role. And that's the great thing about Chris, is that he was such a powerful kind of presence. When you got him, you got somebody who would be completely disruptive in many ways, but absolutely nail the part. Like when he comes in with his arms out, and we only had a tiny amount of film stock, so he was just giving us gold all the time. So we're very lucky to have got him in the first place. But that you'll see about my whole history with him in those extras as well. So yeah, it's a real tribute to him.
Absolutely.
Amazing! Can't wait to see more.
Okay, so I mean, this was a big question that we've been posing to our guests recently, is asking our guests what their Mount Rush horror is. So 4 horror icons that both of you would like to make up your Mount Rushmore. I can't even say it anymore, Andy. I give up.
Mike Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore of horror. Mount Rush horror. So I guess we'll start with you, Jake. Have you got 4? Is there anyone specific to today's episode as well on that Mount Rushmore?
Well, the thing is, are we like I said to you earlier? I've got 4 heads to pick, but they can be characters, and they can be
actors, directors.
Yeah, it's like I almost feel that I should have 2 Mount Rushmores, one with directors and one with characters, because it almost feels a bit strange to mash it up.
If life was simple and we didn't want to put your feet to the fire, then we would do that. But
yeah, is that my feet are getting a bit hot?
Welcome to the most precious situation you have been in.
Check the bucket, Jake. Check the bucket.
Do you guys maybe want to take it in turns and then it give you a bit more time?
Okay, yeah. Well, look, and in line with today's episode, and and thinking, that certainly the Phantasm series of films were a massive influence on me as a teenager when I first saw Phantasm back in the video shop back in the early 80s. I think I was 14 when I saw it. As I showed you in the last episode, I've still got my copy of it. And of course. That was a film that, when I learned, had been directed by a 18-year-old at the time, which was Don Coscarelli, who'd shot it at a very early age. That was incredibly inspirational to think, how did a guy at that age make a film? How did he get this film made? And obviously, and then I set about trying to read as much as I could. So Don Coscarelli is definitely one of the unsung heroes of horror, certainly independent horror. And the Phantasm series means an enormous amount to me. So I'm going to put Don Coscarelli's head up on my Mount Rushmore.
Get him on there. That big
old chiseled on
6'4". No, get him chiseled on.
Get those guys working away.
Come on, get him on there. Aaron, did you want to get your first pick up there?
Yeah, go on then. I'll get my first pick on there.
It's a can of beer. It looks like I love
beer.
I love beer.
That's my first. But I'm going to say my first head on Rushmore has to be John Carpenter. It's that's one of the easy ones there, just because I can, as a filmmaker, I there's never a time when I don't have time for John Carpenter. Any of his films. I mean, one of his we discussed this in the last episode. Alice, my partner, she just does not like horror films until recently when she went to go see Razorblade Smile. Oh God, he's paying me by the hour, by the way. Went to go see Razorblade Smile, and she absolutely fell in love with Liv Silver and Eileen Daly, and now Razorblade Smile is her favorite horror film. But I could probably tell you her second, and that's They Live. She absolutely loved They Live, and I was really happy with that. And again, every time we mention a John Carpenter film, it evokes something. For me, if I've come back from the pub or whatever, or a night out with Jake or whatever, and I need something to fall asleep to, I'll just stick Escape from New York on, and it's just that fall asleep to that synth.
Oh yeah.
Halloween, Halloween. I mean, even The Fog. Jake will occasionally do the whole speech from the very beginning.
John Houseman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do it if you want, Jake. The opening.
Well, you need the watch, really, don't you?
I did the watch.
That
Sorry.
loud snap, like yeah. One more story before midnight, just to keep us warm. 5 points. By God, there was a fire. Anyway, we'll leave it. There you go.
And what's funny is he did that to Ray Winston, which I thought was brilliant, because we were talking about, again, another Carpenter classic, The Thing. And we were about to go on stage for this screening of Knox, and I think we were talking to Ellie Ray, Jake, about John Carpenter and The Fog, and then Ray comes in and goes, "All right, watch the end of The Thing, The Thing with an F, not the TH.
The Thing.
Watch The Thing.
Finger.
Yeah, watch The Thing." And if you watch very closely at the beginning, Kurt Russell's character hasn't got any breath, and I'm going, like, you're blowing my mind.
I've heard this.
Before I go on stage, he's telling me about The Thing, and then he was like, "Yeah, go back and watch it again." And true to my word, I haven't, but I intend to. I will get round to it, but yeah, my first.
Or is it the other way around? Is it the other guy that hasn't got any?
I think Childs doesn't have any breath.
I think it might be.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe it was.
Quick, let's just get our copies of The Thing out and
Quick,
have a
I'll be
Pause
back in a
everything,
second.
everyone.
We need to confirm.
But it was just the way that Ray was so enthused about The Thing, which just surprised me. And we just stood there talking about John Carpenter for ages. But honestly, yeah, he has to be my first head on horror Mount Rushmore for sure.
Absolutely. He's on mine, Aaron, so impeccable taste.
Inspired by a similar body of work, Keith David is on mine. Recent recipient of a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
That's
Well done,
true.
Keith.
The Thing was his first film as well, right? Is that true?
Who's?
Couldn't tell you without the internet to help me.
Who's?
Keith David. I swear I saw that recently saying The Thing was his first movie. Maybe I got that incorrect, but
I don't know. You'd need to check that. I'm not sure.
While Jake tells you his second pick, I will subtly check your sources.
Yeah.
Give it a quick goose.
Well, as I tell you what, because in some ways this has taken the pressure off me, because pretty much any horror fan would want to say John Carpenter's head should be on the Mount Rushmore, but because Aaron's just got it on his Mount Rushmore over there, and technically there are two Mount Rushmores in this episode.
Yeah, they'll live in the same valley in the virtual space.
I feel that Don Coscarelli is just looking over the way. They're building another one over there. It's Truss's picks, and he's going, "God, I fully approve of having John Carpenter there. That's an absolutely correct pick." So there's no point me getting them to resculpt another head on my one but I would have picked John Carpenter as well. But I'm going to go for another filmmaker, which I think is a seminal horror filmmaker, and certainly a seminal filmmaker that inspired a whole generation of independent filmmakers. And that has to be Sam Raimi. Because of The Evil Dead, that film in itself just spawned a generation of filmmakers who felt, shit, once again, there's this kid who made this film. It's crazy. And obviously him working with Bruce Campbell and Rob Tappert and those guys, they created this legend about themselves as these great characters. And because they were young and had loads of energy, you felt you could really relate to those guys. And I remember seeing Jonathan Ross's The Incredibly Strange Film Show. It's a brilliant episode if you guys haven't seen it, where he interviews a very young Sam Raimi. They're just sometime after they'd done Evil Dead 2. So I think he was just doing Darkman at that point. So he hadn't done. He's not the Sam Raimi of today. He was still the indie Sam Raimi who was beginning to start doing some studio gigs. But Sam Raimi was such a great influence, and like Evil Dead films, and the character of Ash as well. I mean, I'd almost like to have a Thing style thing where Sam Raimi's head splits open and Bruce Campbell's comes out and he's like an Ash sort of coming out of him. But I'm going to have to stick, Sam Raimi just for those reasons, because I love him, and I think so many of your listeners would like to see his head up there.
A great pick.
Good, excellent choice. To confirm, before we go to Aaron and your second choice, Keith David was in 2 films before The Thing. One was Coriolanus, which is a Shakespeare production, and the second one is a production of The Pirates of Penzance. So he was a song and dance man.
But I think they were both stage shows. His first film role was uncredited in Disco Godfather, apparently.
There you go.
The Thing was his first credited.
First major film.
The Thing is definitely really early in there, but it's possible he might have popped up, as you say, in a couple of other things, but no one knew who he was probably at that point.
Yeah.
Finally got some well-deserved recognition.
Aaron, who's your second pick?
Okay, so looking over at Don Coscarelli and Sam Raimi is a man who is almost like a myth. And he is someone who has touched the hearts and minds of more than 3 people. And I'm going to put on my list someone who we've spoken about. We've spoken about him with Kevin. And this one goes out to my main man. I've forgotten his name now.
That's not very good. He's so famous. He should be on Mount Rushmore.
He's so famous. He should be on Mount Rushmore. Sorry, I was going to say Tom Atkins.
Yes,
Tom Atkins, of course.
My man Tom Atkins needs to be there. I was trying to remember a quote and his name at the same time, and it was just going to come out. Tom Atkins.
I mean, I expected it, and I'm glad you've lived up to those expectations. But obviously, a wonderful choice. Definitely an actual legendary actor as well. So yeah. Get him on there.
The more you blink, the more you forget how many films he's actually been in. Whether it's a supporting role or whatever. But Creepshow was on the other day, and it was the intro, and I was just thinking that's why Gareth made Fathers, and I'm like, oh wow, it's my man. What's he doing in Creepshow? I totally forgot he was in this. So it goes out to my man from Halloween 3.
Hell yes.
Isn't he bollocking a young Joe Hill in that beginning?
Is it Joe Hill? Is it really? Oh no.
Yeah, Stephen King's son.
Threatening to spank Joe Hill.
Oh.
he gives him a proper slap as well.
Because he could get away with it.
A swift backhander. Okay, third choice, Jake.
Okay, third choice is going to be I've got to go back to the classics, and I'm going to go with the head of somebody who actually is kind of got the kind of face that kind of already appears on the actual Mount Rushmore, like a sort of the face from an older generation, but somebody who really birthed a lot of the horror film techniques that we're all watching and enjoying today. But the filmmaker who really created a lot of the original kind of suspense and horror motifs visually was Alfred Hitchcock. And without Alfred Hitchcock, he is probably the greatest influence on horror in terms of technical filmmaking than any other director. And I believe that both, like someone like Steven Spielberg would say exactly the same thing. Jaws is very much based on Alfred Hitchcock's technique, and Jaws is almost the perfect film in that sense. But if you look at what Hitchcock was doing in early cinema, even before Psycho, the way he was creating fear and suspense in the audience, and he was the master of that. And like I say, any filmmaker who does any form of research into film history or watches about technique, it's not long before you get to Alfred Hitchcock, certainly if you're into horror. So for me, I think I would have to put him as one of the all-time masters of the genre. And, and his head, it kind of looks like it should be on Mount Rushmore, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was about to say, you're going to want a really fine quality sandpaper to finish him off. It's like he'd have such a smooth finish to him.
Yeah, but he's got that kind. He looks like he's from a different time, though.
Yeah.
Don Coscarelli with his big curly hair and kind of, he's got a very friendly face. And you've got Sam Raimi a bit more kind of, the young Sam Raimi anyway. And now we've got Alfred Hitchcock, the all-time master of suspense and horror. So that's my pick, Alfred.
I'm surprised.
I'm
surprised we've not had Alfred Hitchcock chosen before. I don't think we have.
Has he not been chosen before?
Don't think so. Which is
Tom Atkins been chosen before.
Don't think so.
Has Don Coscarelli been chosen before?
No, all unique entries so far.
Sam Raimi probably, and Carpenter.
Sam Raimi, maybe. I'm not sure. Carpenter.
We've only been doing it for a little while though, so it's time. They'll come up again.
This is only the second episode.
No, we've done
Alfred Hitchcock
coming up on double figures.
Great choice. And talking of like Spielberg, I was thinking I was watched the Jules at 50 documentary the other day. Talking about the dolly zoom. And obviously, he kind of replicated something that Alfred Hitchcock had done in many of his films. So yeah,
the dolly zoom got used on Trilogy of Terror. That little voodoo dolls chase.
Yeah, exactly. That's the most iconic one, of course.
The true dolly zoom.
Yeah, Hitchcock invented that shot. I think it was Vertigo originally. He did it, and it's he called it a trombone shot. Because it looks like, because that was, it's called a dolly zoom now, but he called it a trombone shot. But as you know, you've got that compression of the background and the foreground coming in. So the camera's physically moving as you're zooming. So you get that compressed movement. And it is, once again, that Hitchcock invented that shot. And that's what genius Hitch was. But I think everyone's kind of go-to example for that shot is in Jaws. It's Brody on the beach, definitely. That's the one we all think of. But
anytime you see a dolly zoom or maybe a split diopter shot is when I go, this is some good shit.
Everyone loves a split diopter as well. I mean,
you can't ever do that, can you? Wait, who are we on?
Aaron's on number three.
You're number 3.
Well, seeing as he's taken Hitchcock and he was on my list, he was actually one of my runners-ups. So thanks, Jake. I'm going to go different direction now. This is more of someone who it's hard to explain because he started off as a really scary character and someone who scared your dreams, looked like burnt toast.
We know you're going.
You know where I'm going with this one, but also it was the fact that when I grew up with Mr. Hand, and when it's the
kind of guy who could give you a razor-blade smile if you weren't careful.
That's true. So when I first saw Edward Scissorhands, terrified the shit out of me. I absolutely adore the journey of Freddy Krueger. Not his journey, that's quite twisted. The one that he made in the cultural zeitgeist. The fact that he started off as this terrifying character that you never really saw. He was in the shadows and he sort of grew into this MTV figure. And he got the kids into horror and you had the whole thing of the slasher movie, and he was kind of at the front of all that. And I love how he started off as something that stalked your dreams, had this crooked nose like a witch in the second film, and then all of a sudden, after a few James Bond quips, he's now presenting Dokken and whatever on MTV, and it's like,
oh yeah, of course,
that's incredible for a character to go from the screen to film to, and even the TV show. Me and Jake and Katy and Nacho, a couple of our friends, we watched an episode of against their will, Freddy's Nightmares.
Well, the thing, unfortunately, it is pretty shonky, the TV series. Unfortunately,
you said you loved it.
Did I?
It can be two things.
You can love shonky things. That's fine.
No. We love the kind of cheesiness of it, but in comparative quality to the films, it's a very, very cheap and badly scripted. A lot of those episodes, or certainly the ones we watched.
Just the one. We only watched one.
I can't remember. We zoomed through a couple of other ones and saw.
Oh yeah, I think
there was a couple of similarities between certain episodes where characters got killed in the same way and things like that.
I think because we were going through a list of all the episodes and we were just picking episode titles that sounded cool. Yeah. And then I think I showed you a clip of George Lazenby in an episode. Yeah. Freddie gave us more George Lazenby. Yeah, George Lazenby appears in Freddy's Nightmares along with Brad Pitt and Diane Franklin. It's like, it's incredible. But yeah, I would definitely stick Freddy Krueger up there just because if it wasn't for the Freddy films when I was growing up, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. I wouldn't be forging the friendships I've been forging now. And I owe a lot to Freddy.
That's one of
Good on you, Freddie.
Andy's choices.
He's on my very own horror Mount Rushmore as well.
Yeah, there we go. You're in good company. And then finally, Jake.
Yeah, well, this is really tough because obviously there's so much in horror that you want to do, and like I feel really torn on this next one because, like, in terms of like horror characters that influenced me, certainly as a filmmaker, and somebody one of my first loves of horror comes from vampire movies. The problem is that there's so many vampires to choose from of whom I love because it's hard to just pick one vampire because there's so many distinctive different vampire characters in film history.
Can I guess?
Well, no, because funny enough, I'm gonna surprise you. But the point is that but starting with Nosferatu from the beginning of early cinema, it's a vampire on film. Then you've got Bela Lugosi as Dracula. Then you've got Christopher Lee, and then you've got Ingrid Pitt, and then you've got you've got Kiefer Sutherland in the 80s, and you've got Catherine Deneuve, and it's almost like it's an impossible choice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to surprisingly throw that out, and I'm going to go with an icon which in terms of a Mount Rushmore, and if this is a horror Mount Rushmore, I want people to almost crash their car when they see this one because they've got Don Coscarelli and they've got Sam Raimi and they've got Alfred Hitchcock looking a bit more austere, but I want it to look like a real horror monument and people to go, what the fuck is that up there? So I'm going to put Pinhead up there from Hellraiser because imagine that as a 60-foot fucking sculpture on the fucking mountain. I mean, that would be just probably one of the most impressive things I could think of seeing, and it would scare the shit out of the other heads. They would all be trying to edge off away from it. I mean, possibly below the thing. Maybe if we included the hands of everyone, you could see that those directors have accidentally opened the lament configuration box.
Oh yeah,
and it's like Pinhead's coming through the mountain at them.
Oh yeah, from an engineering perspective, you'd put and you could project one of those 3D light shows onto it, so it looked like it was reconfiguring. I'd probably want to put the actual pins, with rebar.
Yeah, imagine that though. It would be great, wouldn't it? So it's just, but also the reason for picking it is that in terms of horror, when I saw Hellraiser, and it would have been, I don't know, I saw that on video probably in about 80. I think it was released in 86, but I saw it on video when it came out, so it probably might have been 87 or 88. But I saw Hellbound, Hellraiser 2 at the cinema. I saw it a few times at the cinema because I loved it so much. But the Pinhead character was the character that actually was frightening. Like that was a real demon. That was something that was going to literally actually tear your soul apart. And there wasn't anything in horror that I'd seen like that. And so I think from a just a pure horror perspective, as one of the great modern characters, like Freddy Krueger in the first Nightmare on Elm Street is genuinely nightmarish, but as we carry on, it becomes jokey, and that's the problem. But I mean, possibly you could say the same with Pinhead. There's been too many sequels, too many Hellraisers, and it's the law of diminishing returns in the sense that from that first film, which was fucking terrifying, he started becoming a bit of a Freddy-esque character. So
the third one, he turns that DJ into a CD man.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly, yeah.
Or when he appeared in that Motorhead music video.
But yeah, so I'm going to put Pinhead up there just because it would look fucking awesome.
That would be an incredible aesthetic. I mean, investors, if you've got any money left after you get Employee the Dead funded, if you can spare $50 to $80 million,
well, also we're looking for some very gifted stonemasons as well.
Yeah,
exactly. How are you going to do the pins? That's going to be like rebar. Rebar.
You've got it all worked out. See,
my neighbour's an engineer, and we're watering their plants when they go on holiday. I'll see if I can have a word.
Yeah, but also he'll be staring across, slightly freaking Freddy out on his side.
I don't know. Freddy's quite freaky.
Well, have you got anyone freakier as number
anyone to finish your list, Aaron?
To finish my list, this was a tricky one because I only had a train journey to figure this one out, and was I going to go with Sadako from The Ring? Was I going to go with Tom Savini? Was I going to go with Christopher Lee or Peter Cushing or both? I bloody can't now because I've used up 3. So it's going to sound really silly, but if it wasn't for this guy, I wouldn't be into horror. So I'm going to go with my dad. He's on my Mount Rushmore. I absolutely love the fact that he can technically be on there now because he's a published author with Gape and D as well. You can buy it on Amazon, people. And if it wasn't for this guy who encouraged me, all my life, and also waited until mum went out with her mates or whatever, and then was like, Aaron, do you want to watch a scary movie? And it's like, oh yeah, go on then. And then instantly regretting it because Return of the Living Dead is nothing a 6-year-old should ever have to watch. Um, and then you end up saying to him, more, let's watch more. And then the next thing, I'm going through all the videos. I was saying to Jake the other day, he used to record, was it Dr. Terror's House of Terror? Dr. Terror's Vault of Terror or something like that? I can't remember.
Yeah, Dr. Terror's House of Horrors or something
Dr.
like that.
Terror's House of Horrors on BBC Two, where they used to show all the horror documentaries and Hammer films and things like that. And I think that was when I first saw Raw Meat, or Deathline as they call it over here, and Abbott and Costello Meets Frankenstein. And he didn't know I was watching any of these, but he just record them and leave them on the side, and I'd be there Saturday morning watching all these films and stuff. And if it wasn't for my dad, and of course Pareidolia, yeah, I'm going to stick my dad's large head on Mount Rushmore.
Oh, that's very sweet.
Lovely choice.
With one stroke, I think I'm making a wonderful tribute to your father and making all of us look like absolute pieces of fucking work. Well done.
Cheers, Aaron.
Yeah.
Dad's birthday today as well. Jeez, what have I done?
Great choices all around, everybody.
Love you, Dad. Can I borrow some money? Cheers.
For the film. Great choices all around, everybody. Good work. I'll quickly touch upon a little bit of horror news before we get into Phantasm III. The Fright Fest lineup 2025 has been revealed. We're not going to discuss absolutely everything here and now because me and Andy have just put out a bonus episode where we run through all of the films that are screening on the main screen throughout the whole festival. So go and check that out. It takes place between the 21st and the 25th of August 2025. We're going to do another bonus episode at some point in the next week or so, talking about all the films that are on Discovery screens 1 to 3 as well. So there we go. We're going to be there in person, feet on the ground again, covering all the films. Looking forward to it, and I'm sure
we got our tickets, and we care about your clicks, everybody. So you'll find we'll put links in there for you, or they'll be on the socials. We've curated a letterbox list with all the films that have letterbox listings so far. We've done a little YouTube playlist with all of the trailers we've been able to slurp up as well. So for the price of one of your clicks on our channel, you can get all those accessible for yourselves. Have a little look through. Let us know what you're most excited about.
Absolutely. And this will be year 3 of us covering it in person as well. So looking forward to it. I think maybe year 5 or 6 of us covering it in general.
Yeah, including in general and doing remote stuff. 3rd year we've been there physically. Would I do anything different to previous years? I'm going to try, Ben, to bring some more fruit with me, because after 5 days of eating nothing but brown food, I always feel it on the way home.
Are you saying this just as Aaron is eating a donut?
He's all right. He's probably had regular dinner already. But when all of your dinners come from what can be eaten very quickly from a Greg's because another film is starting,
everyone finds themselves in Greg's. It's the easiest way. If not, McDonald's.
Yeah.
There's a KFC around the way. Yeah,
we've got slightly nicer seats.
But that also sums up the problem. You end up eating just real shit for 3 or 4 days, for 5 days. And
that's why
going to bed at 4 a.m.
after drinking heavily.
I'm sorry to tell you, you've come back from Fright Fest. You have type 2 diabetes.
Oh no!
The good news, sir, is that actually you haven't gained weight while you've been away because you've not slept.
You've just plateaued.
Yeah.
That's very exciting. We're looking forward to it, of course. And we'll also be covering some films on the lead up to the event as well. We'll probably have some interviews lined up, so we'll put those out as soon as we have them. Another piece of news: the next movie from Osgood Perkins, the follow-up to Longlegs and the Monkey, has been revealed. It's called Keeper, and it's an upcoming dark trip horror movie, and it stars Tatiana Maslany and Joseph Sutherland. Keeper follows a couple as they escape for a romantic anniversary weekend at a secluded cabin. When one of them returns to the city, Liz finds herself isolated and in the presence of unspeakable evil. Who could it be coming to the cabin? The what?
The Keeper.
Obviously. It's the Keeper. Is it about a goalkeeper? Do you think it's about a goalkeeper?
You can't say it's unspeakable.
Yeah.
It's an eldritch horror. It's unspeakable.
You'll have to draw him.
I like to think it's about a goalkeeper. I reckon David Seaman.
It's about time
they always end up the bad guys.
Ever such big hands, you can really cause some damage with those. You know what I mean? You grab someone's head. Come on. And he's
Padded
got
gloves though, so you'd be softly smothered away.
he'd have evil goalkeeper gloves on, big steel ones.
Sandpaper hands.
Look at them shine.
Looking forward to this. What did you both think about the monkey and long legs? I don't know if we ever discussed that with you two. I don't think we did.
We saw that. We saw Long Legs before you went to Sitges, I think, Jake.
Yeah, we saw Longlegs at the Picture House, didn't we?
Yeah,
Before it
Bromley
closed down in
Picture
Bromley.
House.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Longlegs. We enjoyed it. What I remember, we enjoyed it, but it felt that it was missing maybe a third act, though.
Yeah.
Because
I know what you
I
mean.
thought the Nicolas Cage character was really interesting, and the whole idea of this division that we're kind of investigating all this kind of stuff, but it didn't 100% feel that you got the whole story. I felt a little bit, I loved it, but it didn't feel complete. So I don't know if that makes sense. to
It's
people.
worth a rewatch for sure. That Nick
It
Cage
certainly
is
had one of the
quite
best
compelling.
trailers though that I've seen for a long time.
Yeah, the trailers. I feel like the cinematography, all of the promotional material was great.
Yeah,
as
the
well.
promotion killed it. Yeah, like really did. I think it was amazing. Absolutely nailed.
There was a number with the promotion. I remember. Did
Oh,
you do
yeah.
that started with Scream, one of the Scream movies where you call up the number, and it's just Nick Cage sort of whispering down the phone to you.
Yeah.
I love it when they do that sort of thing, that interactive, And of course, I liked Long Legs, but not as much as probably everyone else did. But then, to be fair, everyone else loved Alien Romulus, but I didn't quite get that one. Jake didn't get that one either, I don't think.
No. Well, to me, Alien Romulus, I mean, while it was enjoyable, it felt like a greatest hits album, and not the real thing. But that's just me. But I think a lot of people wanted that, and they certainly delivered that, if that's what you wanted. But
I think it's also fair. Popular film, you can still have a critique of it. Like that for me, Longlegs, it was missing the procedural investigative part of that one. It felt like there was a mystery that was solved, but the character basically goes, "I've done that. I've solved it. Here's the answer."
I've got what have they got? They can just
like I've got Sherlock Holmes powers. I look at these clues and I've solved them while I was off camera.
I've got a hunch.
But also the thing that was most probably the biggest letdown is compared to the tall man, he didn't have his legs weren't actually that long.
He wasn't that tall. Yeah.
No, it was actually quite fairly normal Nick Cage height.
I would say proportionally, his legs were as long as you would expect for a man of his height.
Yeah, so you could argue maybe there was a bit of misrepresentation of the leg length.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you've made me think about it even more. I'm even more angry about that film.
Nick Cage
He's no Angus Scrimm, is he?
He's Angus
imprisoned by the Advertising Standards Agency next time he lands in the UK immediately.
He gets hanged up next to a poster of Angus, the real long legs.
It seems like Warner Brothers, though, seem to be doing really well because obviously Sinners, we don't have to talk about that, but obviously, that was I thought it was an amazing film, Sinners.
Loved it.
I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, I couldn't stop going on about it. In fact, they didn't even need to budget for promotional materials. You just need to send me down the road, and I'll be telling everyone, go see Sinners. A friend of mine had an operation, and as soon as they came out of their operation, I was like, you need to go see Sinners now.
As soon as they came around.
Take the camera out and go see Sinners.
During the operation, you took off some scrub to the operative. Yeah.
Go see Sinners.
You've really got to go see Sinners, guys.
Excuse me, what's the Sinners? Wow.
Exactly, yeah. And then, of course, Weapons is coming up, which I remember telling you, Jake, about that, and you were like, what's Weapons? And we saw the trailer for it. It just looks amazing.
Yeah, that looks good. Yeah. But once again, I'm always a bit anxious about that because when you get a trailer that's good, sometimes the film can't live up to it. And I think that Longlegs had such a good trailer that I'd felt that the film didn't get to where the trailer took you, which was one of those things. But certainly it got you into the cinema, which was a good thing. And went to see it and sat on a big screen, and that's always the better way to watch a movie. Because we're cinephiles.
Yeah, but on the flip side of that, on the other side of the fence, you've got Sony Columbia who are churning out these teen movies. If you excuse 28 years later, you had Until Dawn, and now you have you had Tarot before that, and now you've got I Know What You Did Last Summer coming out, which again I hate.
Next week's episode.
Yeah, no, I mean I'll be tuning in to see what you guys think, but I hate reboots or sequels that just take the name of the original and that's it, because that's just confusing for everyone.
Yeah.
I literally had someone ask me the other day when they saw the one of the promotional spots for it, and they were like, "Who's Jennifer Love Hewitt?" And I just part of me just kind of thought, oh God,
No!
who's Freddie Prinze Jr.? Oh, that's the guy from Scooby-Doo. Oh, like I don't know what to do. Like,
Just
yeah,
crumbled away.
probably, yeah, I melted like that the tall man at the end of Phantasm II.
Like you've just been impaled and stuck in a freezer.
Yeah, my eyes went like that. I was like, that's it. I'm done. I'm ready to leave the planet. But yeah,
Although
it's
if they ever do get around to doing reboots, it would be quite funny if Longlegs gets rebooted just from a linguistic perspective.
Longer
Yeah.
legs.
longer legs. Yeah.
Oh, Longlegs rebooted. No, like
Yeah.
Lipton
I
issues.
see. I've got you. I've
yeah,
got
yeah. It's a grower, but yeah.
Speaking of reboots, Jake, if they were to remake Razor Blade Smile and not call it Underworld, who would you cast in it?
It's a great
Well,
question.
that would be a very interesting question because I think I'd want to try and find somebody new who you didn't have any association with. I think that's the thing. But, by using Eileen back at the time, you might have known her if you'd been in the kind of cult sort of like real at low end, in terms of like the goth horror kind of scene. But on the whole, the main people in the mainstream. So I wouldn't want to go with a big star. I'd rather find somebody new to play the character, so you don't have any other association with that person. So I wouldn't know actually. I'd have to go and find
That makes
somebody.
sense.
No.
I've got a suggestion. I recently watched Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. I watched Dead Reckoning as well.
Yep.
And Pom Klementieff in it, I was
Ooh.
like, she is so good. I wanted her to have like her own action film. And I know Razorblade Smile isn't straight up an action film, but I think she's got the action chops for something.
Yeah. No. Well, I mean, the fact she's in Mission Impossible, yeah, shows you she's pretty well regarded. For her
My
abilities.
suggestion for you, Jake, from a financial perspective, would be, especially if you're now fantasy casting and choosing, get Sydney Sweeney in it. Make so much money you need never do anything you don't want ever again.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she would definitely be like a great Lilith. That's for sure.
See,
Yeah. And
Oh, hang on.
the fans would love that because
you would want for nothing ever again, Jake. You'd be like, oh, have I got the money for my? Yes, I have actually.
Yeah, if
So,
Jake had the
Sydney, if you're watching, get in touch and we can talk about that.
She's a horror
Jake,
fan.
yeah, Jake had the money, he'd build an IMAX in his front room. And that's not a joke.
You
Oh,
could
no, I'll build it in my
an IMAX
basement.
multiplex in his front room. Get a basement dug.
I got one.
Yeah,
I got
yes,
one.
I'll get to be one of those people that creates a whole new world underneath my house. Like
Jake, I got one for you. Martin Freeman as Price.
I don't know, maybe I don't know. He's a bit short.
Here we go. Back to long legs again.
Yeah, we're only thinking of tall people in this episode.
Yeah.
The last bit of news I've got is so 20th Century Studios have given Psycho Killer a release date of the 20th of February 2026. It's from the writer of Seven, Andrew Kevin Walker. And in the film, police officer Jane Fawn makes it her mission to take down a serial killer referred to in the news as the satanic slasher following the murder of her state trooper husband.
Okay.
Been done.
Been done. Georgina Campbell from Barbarian, Logan Miller from Escape Room. Yeah, this could be good. Psycho Killer's been done. It was a satanic slasher, I suppose that has been done in the 80s.
Most of the psycho killers of the 80s. All the devil made me do it, fellas.
I guess Longlegs is a satanic slasher, right?
But the thing is, it's not really about the horror character, though, is it? It's much more about the person.
The whodunit,
Yeah.
nature of it. But yeah, if it's written by somebody,
Obviously.
I look forward to that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it'd be really interesting to see. It's a film like that. It feels that you've heard that kind of plot line before, but it depends where they decide to take it. I mean, when they say a satanic slasher, what level of Satanism are we looking at here?
Sometimes is it a mad person? In other films, sometimes the devil's just a real bloke that's about.
Let's get the chart out.
Sending your dollies in the post, bloody devil.
Let's get the Venn diagram out for satanic slashers. That's it for horror news. I guess what we've been watching, anything you've seen in the last 7 days that you wanted to potentially recommend. Aaron, you already said you saw Jules at 50. The documentary.
Yeah, Jules at 50. I think I'm jumping on this because a lot of people are.
You've jumped the shark.
Yeah, I've jumped the shark. I've grown the beard. That was a great film, and this sort of goes back to. This is going to sound strange, but Jake and I often laugh at certain actors of back in the day who like to have a drink, and you're talking about your Oliver Reeds and things like that.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at Robert Shaw, and I'm thinking, oh, I know your type. And looking at the feud between Schneider and
Yeah.
it's just amazing. It almost makes me want to go see the play they did.
The
What was
shark
it?
is broken.
The Shark is Broken. I really want
Yeah.
to see that. And again, like they keep saying, Spielberg and whatever. I think they hype it up a little bit to be something that it probably wasn't. They probably had a disagreement on the boat or whatever, and probably didn't like each other that much. But it's not as big as everyone sort of makes out in myth now, I suppose. But it's going to sound really shit, but I actually watched Barbarian for the first time recently, and I absolutely loved it.
Great.
I
Hell yeah.
can't
No,
can't believe it's taken me
I
that
don't think
long.
anyone's going to be upset with you saying that.
Thank you very much. Yeah,
But where were you for the last 3 years?
Where you been, mate?
I've been stuck in his basement doing razor blade smile stuff.
Maybe that's why you thought I had a basement, because of that.
That is true. Yeah, you said your house was an Airbnb, and you weren't there, and I was crying a lot.
Did you have the subs on?
No, I had to make them, Jake.
Sobbing.
And aside from that, what did we go see recently? 28 Years Later.
28 Years Later was the last thing I think we saw, which was. Have you guys seen it yet? Just don't want to spoil it for anyone. Yeah. But once again, I very much enjoyed it. This is a Danny Boyle film. But it did feel like 3 films rolled into one. It certainly, once again, without any spoilers, the ending did feel like that the main feature had been invaded by comedy.
Yeah. It was
for any Jimmy Savile fans out there, they're going to be happy.
any Jimmy Savile fans out there,
you're going to love it.
Hopefully zero.
We were there with our friends, Katy and Nacho. I keep bringing them up. Katy and Nacho are close friends of mine. Katy is a filmmaker herself. She's from Germany. Nacho, his real name Ignacio. He did a lot of the VFX and GFX for Jake and myself on different projects. And they had no idea about the ending. They didn't know who Jimmy Savile was. So I was like, oh great, we're gonna have to talk about this.
Oh no, we're gonna have to do a deep dive now.
We're gonna have to sit down.
They literally couldn't quite comprehend what Jim will Fix It was and how it all worked, and it was it's quite hard to explain because it's a cultural reference that if you're not from this country, so in the States and place anywhere, and they're not going to understand the reference.
So that's I think it's Run DMC. They'll be like, oh.
But the film has a load of amazing stuff in it. But if I did have a slight, from a horror fan's perspective, I thought once again from the trailer, I thought the film was going to be really, really, really scary. And actually, the film wasn't actually really, really scary. It was quite meaningful and quite emotional. But the trailer, I thought it was going to be. But it felt much less of a zombie film than 28 Weeks Later, for instance. I mean. I'm actually one of the people that I really love 28 Weeks Later a lot. I mean, if you rewatch the opening of 28 Weeks Later, I was talking about the other day with somebody that when Robert Carlyle is being chased by the zombies, it's a knockout sequence. It's absolutely superb. And the John Murphy score is sublime in that film as well. So, but yeah, 28 Years Later worth a watch. But it's less of a zombie film in a weird way.
Huge advocate of a John Murphy score. I've just watched Superman as well, and the John Murphy score work in that is top notch.
Fantastic.
Very good. The only other thing that I've seen, recently, and again, this goes back to plugging this guy, was I actually sat down and watched GBH, which I'd never seen before, and honestly, like I'm struggling with the words with GBH because honestly, it feels like how did he get it done? And also kudos to him for getting it done. But it's kind of like a laugh along. But at the same time, you kind of respect him for sticking with it. And then it gets even deeper when I checked out Firestar, which is Twemlow's sci-fi film, which is basically Alien pretty much, but. Yeah, but it's Twemlow.
It's an Alien ripoff, but also it has bits of GBH in it, like the club sequence.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And Charles Gray as well, Blofeld and Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oliver Tobias.
Oliver Tobias, yeah.
From The Bitch.
Yeah, they just turn up in that film and you think, oh, wow, there must be some budget in this. But no. Oh, no, there must have been some budget in it.
But... Yeah, and the budget went on them. For 2 days.
Probably, yeah. And No, it's the treat that keeps on giving. Just watching all these films, and part of me sees a lot of myself, and probably a lot of other filmmakers see themselves in it, where they just go out there and make their films and stuff like that. But I'm just a lot of people have said to me, thank God there's a place that you can watch his films now as a collection, because
Hmm.
there is one place you can go, and that's Severin. So kudos to them, kudos to him, and kudos to Jake.
I know
They've been
it's
great fun to
it's
watch.
great that so many people are beginning to sort of see this stuff for the first time. And I mean, you guys saw the documentary, so you know the kind of thing that you're in for if you do go down into the Twemverse. But yeah,
I really
Twem
catch
verse.
those movies.
it's really amazing that something like this exists, and it's really only Severin who have put all the love and care into it, and obviously myself and Mark Morris at Nucleus who found and remastered all this stuff. So it's been a long labour of love. I mean, it's taken about 4 years to get that entire thing done.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Incredible.
enjoy it
Incredible
if
work,
you're in the mood for some Twem.
Exactly. Um, Jake, anything you've seen recently you wanted to recommend at all?
Well, like I say, I would recommend people to do go and see 28 Weeks Later, but
Years, years.
yeah, like Aaron was mentioning earlier, and because we went to the cinema and saw it at the same time, my film of the year is Sinners by a Country Mile. I mean, I'm a massive vampire fan, as you know. Vampires have a special place in my heart, and Sinners did something with the vampire genre,
Mm.
something that I hadn't seen before in the way that they presented the vampires with the gestalt, the group mind, the idea that they all knew what I was thinking and they had the same knowledge. Sorry if that's a spoiler for people, but
No, it's okay. We've done a whole episode on it, and
okay, yeah. But
yeah,
once again, but I thought it was so beautifully staged. I love the period, I love the setting, and each character themselves felt like they should have their own movie. So,
exactly.
and once again, the music, the soundtrack is absolutely sublime. So, if anyone does want to watch an absolutely great new vampire film, Sinners is definitely the one. But watch it with a good sound system because it really deserves to be
Mm.
heard, in its
It's
full
available on digital
spectrum.
now, isn't it? So I think
Yeah.
I'm due a rewatch.
Exactly. Yeah, it's an incredible film. So, but yeah, 28 weeks, sorry, 28 years later is a film definitely worth seeing, and it was a bit of an event film. I last saw at the cinema was the new Jurassic Park film, which is kind of fun, but it's a bit. It's dinosaur set pieces, so you kind of know what you're going to get beforehand. But it's a little bit bloodless. It could be a bit scarier, but obviously they're going for the family audience, so they seem to have held
Considering
back a
you've
bit.
got like a mutated monstrosity at the end of that film, I thought they could have made more of that, but
Yeah.
they didn't do too much with it, did they?
Yeah, but
Quite
when
fun,
you
though.
have the kills and you have a few, quite fun kills, but compared to Jurassic Park, Spielberg's original one,
Yeah.
that's much darker and nastier the way he did it
Yeah.
back then.
Getting
It's
eaten when
almost
you
like
sat on the eating when
they
you sat on the
they seem to have
toilet.
sanitized it a bit. But I thought Gareth Edwards did a really great job visually as a director,
Mm.
and the set pieces are fun, but not quite a horror film, but certainly in sort of genre vibe
Yeah.
to it.
Have any of you guys seen Bring Her Back yet?
No, but it's not out yet in the UK. So,
Ben
Oh, is it not?
I haven't.
yeah.
I've
But
seen it.
don't say anything.
So I won't.
I haven't seen it yet, but
I won't
there
say.
are previews, aren't there?
All I'm going to say. So I had to. It's available on digital elsewhere other than the UK. So I had to go through the official routes to get to see it because
Rent
I
it in
couldn't
America.
wait.
You
Yeah.
so many hoops.
Because I couldn't wait.
Oh no, I
Uh,
can't wait. But I mean, it's one of those things. I want to see at the cinema. Though.
My
That's the thing.
my film of the year so
Yeah,
far.
fantastic.
Whoa.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's going to be a genuinely scary horror film. And Talk to Me was one of my absolute favorites last year.
Love,
wait.
It's
love
incredible.
Talk to Me,
Oh.
and those directors are 2 for 2 now, so I'm impressed.
Yeah, no, really looking forward to that. Very excited about that coming up. Yeah,
Yeah,
Would have been very strange if they did Street Fighter next.
we'll cover it next month, I think, Andy. Once it's out,
Yeah.
we're going to cover Bring Her Back. We're going to cover Together, and we're also going to cover Weapons next month.
Big
as well,
new
so-
release month next month.
Exactly. I also watched the Jaws at 50 documentary. Talking to Robert Shaw, amazing that he's like a well-to-do English gentleman, isn't it? in terms of his accents, and that's great. I loved hearing about Peter Benchley's when he was trying to work out what to call the book, like all the different options they had.
he went for about 1,000 titles, didn't
Because
he?
you know what's kind of weird is like Jaws, in a sense, like if you hear that without context, you're a bit like, is that a good title for that? I mean, I guess it is. It's really simple. It's a one-worder, but I feel like some of the titles that were alongside it, I'd almost be like, I don't know, how Jaws won out is kind of amazing, really. But still, it's a great documentary. I also watched the Blair Witch documentary, which came out in the Second Sight Films Blu-ray package.
Yeah, I've seen that as well. That's a
Yeah.
really interesting
A
documentary.
really
Actually.
interesting documentary
Yeah.
directed by Jed Shepard, who's been on the show before as well. It's pretty much anything you'd want to know about the Blair Witch Project. It's amazing to see everything that went into it, because when that film came out, I'm so glad they talk about the website, because the website for me at the time when it came out was like, I was obsessed with it.
On your dial-up,
where
you were there.
on your dial-up internet, where you're almost like, is this real? Is this not? And I feel like you can't recapture that ever. That's it now. That's it.
Little bit of interesting Blair Witch history for you
Yes,
guys.
please.
On the original UK release of the film, I interviewed the guys.
You did?
Oh, no way.
Because
Wow,
they wanted an independent filmmaker to interview them about the independent film process, because they've been so successful as independents. And I remember going and meeting them back in, and there's these two guys, and they were sort of a bit shell shocked still. The film, no one thought that the film could do hundreds of millions of dollars. Do you know what I mean? It was insane. And they were like, they were telling me at the time about, making this film where they weren't even really on the set. They told the actors the kind of broad strokes of it. And so this film was being made by the actors, and they didn't even know what they were getting until, they would pick up the tapes later. So it was such a fascinating thing meeting those guys, but seeing them on the cusp of this sort of shell-shocked, oh my God, we've made a genuine hit film, and we're just a bunch of guys who did this primarily on video, and it was really special. So that obviously I made Razor Bay Smile, and my film wasn't a runaway success, so I kind of stayed at the bottom of the mountain as they were ascending. So, but that was an interesting little bit of film history.
That's
so
fascinating.
anyone with the
great.
original UK release could see my interview with them on it.
Oh, you dig it out, everybody.
Oh, wow, is it really? Oh,
yeah.
I actually do have that.
You do have it.
That's your even after we finish here.
Yeah, I've got it somewhere. It was
I'd love to see it. You guys need to get it online somehow. So I saw that, and I did also. I'll let you talk about this, Andy. But we watched a 80s anthology called After Midnight as well, which was recommended to us, wasn't it, Andy?
Yeah, old Stephen in the Horror Hangout Facebook group recommended it. Stephen,
it's his birthday today.
Happy birthday, Stephen.
Happy birthday. Yeah, I mean,
is it good? Is it good, guys? Is it worth a look? Worth
I love an 80s anthology
fun.
Anyway, Jake, but this is...
Well, I love the 80s.
Yeah, I think it's a fun one. It's Jonathan Frakes' voice from an actor that's not Jonathan Frakes.
Oh.
It just sounds a lot like him as a university... This is your premise of your anthology. He is a university lecturer who is going to give you Psychology 102, or the Psychology of Fear. And then he's a little bit unorthodox, does make a young man piss himself, but he gets a complaint from the dean. So the crusty old dean stops him from teaching like that. So he invites his students to his house.
Totally normal.
To
tell.
He can't give you any extra credit for this, but if you want to come round and tell each other scary stories, which will be presented in an anthology style, we can do that. And then from that's from where we go. 3 stories plus the wraparound, very 1980s coded. There's some bad dogs in it. There is a surprise birthday party. There is a surprise skeleton. All sorts of things like that. I love an 80s anthology, and this was a nice example.
Good fun
of it.
score
After
as well,
Midnight.
Yeah, good score.
Yeah, I think the score is pretty good, if I remember right.
Yeah, very sort of like synth surprises and so on as well.
With anthologies, you always find that you gravitate towards one of the stories more so than others, and it's a teenage girls out on the town chased by a pack of rabid dogs is the best one. I enjoyed that.
That's quite a premise. Were there lots of real rabid dogs in the segment, or are they CG?
It looks like it. Those dogs look furious. Sometimes they may have been transitioned out for friendlier dogs when they're close to the actors.
It starts off as a big dog and then cuts to a chihuahua.
It's a cocker spaniel there as they're jumping up against that fence.
Well, it was like a Doberman and Alsatian, and then like a
3 amigos, like a Rottweiler.
And a cocker poodle.
Cocker poodle. Yeah. Ben, I got a question for you. Just while we're on the subject of 80s films here, because Jake was saying this to me the other day, and I'd never heard of it or seen it. But Trick or Treat with Gene Simmons and Ozzy Osbourne. Have you seen this?
Seen it, and we've covered it on the show. We've done an episode on it.
I've never seen it.
I couldn't believe Aaron hadn't seen it. It's the classic heavy metal horror film of the 80s.
Yeah,
I mean, it's great. I mean, the guy who plays the Sammy Kerr character is fantastic. He absolutely
So good,
kills
yeah.
it in that. Yeah,
Ozzy Osbourne
brilliant.
as a preacher on the TV.
Ozzy Osbourne
Yeah.
talking about moral panics and
Talking about
getting
moral
sucked out.
panics, yeah.
All right. By the time I come on the show
Oh, man,
again,
it's
I
good.
would have watched it because that sounds like right up my street. So that sounds like a lot of fun.
It's a
lot of
banging
fun.
time. Another thing that I watched, of the other two things I have to cover today, I watched Toby Hooper's Eaten Alive. His
Oh, I don't know if I've seen that.
gator exploitation.
Oh, you
Is
mean
it?
his like late 70s one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes,
I
yeah.
watched Eaten Alive.
Oh, hell yeah.
I think like it's in many ways, if you've seen Dangerous Animals, like that now pulls so much from this, in which you have a serial killer, a disturbed person that happens to have. It's not a creature feature as such, with like an alligator that's eating people. It is about a serial killer who just happens to have an alligator in his garden, or as he corrects everybody, it's a crocodile that came from Africa, and all sorts of people getting thrown to it, including a young, sexy, and lithe Robert England
Ooh.
in his cowboy hat and walking around shirtless quite a bit.
He's topless as well. Oh.
Yeah.
I think I
I
remember
mean, that's not really the appeal for me, but if is he
I tell
ripped?
you watch it and you might change your tune.
Yeah,
Really?
immediately change your tune.
Yeah, you had him up on your Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
No, I had Freddie on my Mount Rushmore. That's
Yeah,
different.
you just have a quick Google, Aaron, about sexy
Eaten Alive,
Robert England.
Yeah, you should see it.
And also,
just-
like, I think really stunningly, like some really unhinged performances, but so uniquely and beautifully lit. There are some scenes which are not intense action scenes. There's just a bit where the motel owner runs out to talk to his family, and outside the front of the house, just saturated in red, this red light all across the thing. Incredible. And like a lot of Toby Hooper's best movies, ever so sweaty. People proper getting a sweat on. You wouldn't get a wink of sleep. It was very evocative of the last week we had in UK weather. I feel like I was in Eaten Alive.
Damn. Sorry, I've just seen.
You've changed your tune, haven't
He's
you?
changed his tune and he's gone a bit red. Look
Look at him, he's changing, and he's looking quite sweaty.
You've been Toby Hoopered, mate, with sexy Robert England.
He's got a proper sweat on now. Look,
Yeah.
You've got to stop with his terminology. Like, what was it last time? You've been J horrid.
Yeah. You can
You've
turn
been
anything into a
J-hard.
verb.
You've
That's
been
the magic
Robert
of the English language.
You've been sexy England.
He just looks very skinny and in a good way. He looks.
You want to see him moving? He's got that
No,
stage
no, no.
actor presence. He's a song and dance man in those
No,
days.
see him
dude,
moving.
it's a GIF. I'll send you
Oh.
the GIF.
It's a GIF.
I'll send you the GIF.
It's your new favourite.
Ignore the fact the website is called Actors in Underwear.
You had it bookmarked. It's fine.
To move us along from Eaten Alive, of course, we wouldn't have an episode of the Horror Hangout. I feel Ben's going to have to be time coding this one pretty soon without another entry to our. You guys mentioned Freddy's Nightmares already.
Sorry,
I've been
just say
working
it's
my
a
way
Ben.
through
There's
Friday the
multiple gifts.
13th, the TV series. Are either of you familiar with the Friday the 13th series?
no, I've never seen that.
yeah.
No, but
My goodness. No Jason involved?
No,
I did have the displeasure of playing the Friday the 13th video game that Aaron had and sparked up. It's possibly one of the worst games ever made.
on the NES. Yeah, that's try
Oh,
and
that
work that one
one.
out.
I've done
Yeah.
it as well.
It genuinely is.
Yeah, go into all the houses and find the
Find the Jason.
On the horror
find the
hangout.
Jason. And
on
when
the
you do, you've got nothing to kill him with. You've got to run away. Like it's like Monty Python meets Jason.
If you search on the Horror Hangout YouTube channel, Horror Hangout Plays, years ago when I tried to make horror gaming a thing on our channel, I played that and A Nightmare on Elm Street on the NES. And
Oh, we played that too. Yeah.
you can watch me do it and suffer in the same
But
way.
then you know what level of fear that can bring in somebody because God, that's hard work. But no, the TV series, is that any good?
Superior to
Game.
any of the other things that have been mentioned apart from the films themselves. I love this series, and I'm on the penultimate episode of season 1. I've been watching an episode a week. Last week's episode series 1, episode 25, went for over 70 episodes. This one, no Jason involved. It's about a trio of people who inherit an antique shop.
Oh no, actually, no. I did see episodes of these in the 90s. I think it was on TV, but it was much more. They were hunting supernatural forces, or they would have a haunted
antiques.
object.
Yeah.
So it had nothing to do with. Yeah,
No,
it just, it's the
no
idea
Jason
that-
involved. Better than the X-Files.
Oh, no,
This show is, everybody.
it was actually some of those ones I saw were actually quite good fun because
they're They're a blast. This week's episode that I watched was episode number 25, What a Mother Wouldn't Do. Now, Ben, I asked you to guess what the item was last week, and your guess was that it was maybe a baby's dummy.
Did I guess that?
Yep, and unfortunately, you just hit the bar yet again.
Ah,
It was a haunted crib that was on the Titanic the day it
Ah.
that's
sank.
close.
Oh,
And
that's really cool.
yeah, so here's the thing, right? So it begins with a desperate mother who is told that she's going to have her pregnancy terminated because the baby is very sick and it will never survive, and it is also going to threaten her life. And on the way home, she happens to call in to an antique shop where mean old Uncle Lewis, before he was slurped off in the beginning of the series, gave her this crib that was in the window. Fast forward to today, and our heroes are trying to recollect these haunted antiques, and they've had their baby, and it will save their baby's life and keep their baby alive, but only if the mother and father can drown 7 people to death before the anniversary of the sinking of the Titanic.
Yeah, well, that's a fairly reasonable kind of chore, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they're choosing people that are like tangentially created to the baby. So in opening sequence, you see the doctor that gave him some advice going for a jog, and as he is jogging past, she goes, "Oh no, my baby!" and pushes the pushchair down towards the pond in the park. Being a civic-minded gentleman, he goes to save the baby in the crib. Looks, crib is empty, gets bonked on the head and drowned in the lake. And these people are doing some unhinged murders, and there's a babysitter involved. Again, brilliant high concept stuff.
But this
I love
almost
this
sounds like
program.
that Black Mirror episode, the demon one, where the demon appears to this woman in the 70s, and she's got to kill 3 people before midnight, otherwise the
yeah.
apocalypse happens.
See,
Remember that
there you
one?
go. Not even Charlie Brooker has got away with that being inspired
He's
by
clearly watched the series and gone,
possibly this seminal piece of entertainment.
Inspired everything.
I have one episode left in season 1 to do, everybody. Season 1, episode 26. It's called, and I'm going to get for your guesses, The Bottle of Dreams. Any guesses what the Bottle of Dreams might be?
The Bottle of Dreams. It's got to be an empty bottle of White Lightning cider.
White Lightning
And
Side.
if you open it, you
Thunderbird
slide
Blue.
people's dreams into it.
Bottle of dreams.
I reckon it's a ship in a bottle type thing.
Oh, very good.
I like the idea of that.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Looking forward
I'll
to
be able to say
finding out,
about it
Andy.
next week. I'll be in Dublin when you're recording next week. But when I return in 2 weeks, I'll do a season finale wrap up for the Bottle of Dreams for you.
Nice.
Looking forward to it, man.
Good times, everybody. I continue to enjoy this series very much. It is incredibly underrated. I'm saying it to each set of guests we had, by which means I'm repeating it to our regular listeners week on week. Most of it, if not all of it, is on YouTube. Get and watch it.
Get it watched. There we go then.
Apart from that, just the film of the week, Ben.
Okay, so yeah, film of the week, which is Phantasm III, Lord of the Dead, which is a 1994 American science fiction fantasy horror film, sequel to Phantasm II, the third installment in the Phantasm franchise, written and directed by Don Coscarelli. It stars Angus Scrimm as the tall man, Reggie Bannister, and A. Michael Baldwin. That's his name. It's just not just one. There's not many Michael Baldwins.
Not the Michael Baldwin, but
not
hey,
the Michael Baldwin, also known as Michael M. Baldwin. That's confusing. Jesus.
Before there was Michael B. Jordan, there was a Michael M. Baldwin.
Okay, Mike and Reggie continue to hunt the mysterious tall man, discovering along the way that the invasion has already begun. In terms of ratings, we've got 6 out of 10 on IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes, 38% audience score, 43% critic score. It's a bit harsh. Letterboxd 3.0 out of 5. Some choice reviews. Belial Carboni. I feel like we've chosen reviews from Belial.
Belial's
Carboni before.
rocking up on this show regular contributor Belial.
Belial Carboni says, "Boy,
does he live in a basket?
he
Belial?
lives in a little
I can only
basket."
imagine.
Yes, he does. Phantasm 3 is pure 90s comfort food, 4 stars. Matt Winfield says, "Man, if Reggie spent half as much time trying to kill the tall man as he does trying to get laid, this series would have been over in a flash." Comic book fan says, "Crazy fun and aware of its over-the-top horror action vibe. This is non-stop blood, gore, goo, and more floaty ball action than I get when I have a bath. I've added that. Comic book fan. Oh, it's 4 stars. Comic book fan gives it. And Jacob Knight says, "This is the Dream Warriors of this series, a group of tormented misfits showing down with ultimate evil." 3 stars. So there we go. I guess should we start with you then, Jake? What is your understanding of this film, and where does it sit in the Phantasm franchise for you? What kind of
Oh,
film?
well, I think we spoke about this before in terms of the order of which we like the Phantasm films, and you know, assuming that I'm staying consistent with my choices, I believe that it is, for me, obviously Phantasm One is the best because it is the original, and without Phantasm One, you can't have anything else. But then my second favorite, controversial for some people, Phantasm Four, because to
Oh,
me, Phantasm One and Phantasm Four are linked like very
okay.
well. Um, Phantasm II is the big budget action one, so that's my third favorite. But because Michael Baldwin isn't in that one, you know, they recast the character because Universal wanted a more kind of sort of standard leading man kind of actor. So Michael Baldwin was deemed a bit too quirky and not famous enough. So that's why they recast on the second one. And I think, as I told you last time, one of the actors up for the role was a young Brad Pitt, but Don didn't go with him. He went with
Oh, okay.
sorry, the actor's name's escaped me now, but who plays Mike in the second film. But
The Michael Baldwin.
the B team version.
Yeah.
But but Phantasm III, Lord of the Dead, is actually my fourth favorite of the Phantasm series. Doesn't mean to say that I don't like it, because I love the whole series.
Hmm.
But as Don would say, and when he talks about this film, this is kind of the one with the most comedy in it. It is the kind of, you know, the horror Home Alone one, but peppered through it, it has
Yeah.
got some really beautiful, more of the strange, mysterious, darker bits that you get in Phantasm, and a lot of that comes through from the reappearance of Jodie, you know, Michael's brother, as it basically comes back as a
Yeah.
bull. But he keeps on reappearing, and there's a sequence where they go through to the Red Planet itself, and where he discovers to try and break Michael from there. And there's a bit at the end which really prefigures the kind of eeriness of what we were going to get in part 4, where you get the gold eyes on Michael's character, and he's got the sphere in his head. But there's
Yeah.
bits of Lord of the Dead that I absolutely love, and it's the more serious and surreal bits. It's got some beautiful images in it as well. I mean, when the sphere breaks out of the tall man's head and it just breaks away and crumbles, it's like a surrealist painting at that particular moment. And there's some lovely bits of Angus Scrimm dialogue in there, you know, channeling his tall man, you know, when he's sort of saying to Michael Baldwin, you know, I shall break free you from this flesh construct. Everything unknown shall become known. And I mean, I love all of that kind of overlaid and mysterious vibe that gave the original Phantasm that kind of weirdness.
Hmm.
But this one is tempered more with the comedy and the reintroduction of a character called Tim, which is a young boy, more like in the first film where Michael was the kid. So Dom wanted to go back to this. So you've got this strange sort of Home Alone vibe in it as well.
Yeah. It's a wacky cast of characters that we get here as well. Like, you have to have like a real effort to put together like a little ragtag team.
Yeah, but once again, this is a film where Reggie really comes. Reggie is the main character, and you know, after what we saw in Phantasm II, everyone loves Reggie and the Reg Man, you know, going up with his guns, and that the particular comedy, as you have alluded to, with him spending a lot of time trying to sort of chat up Rocky and failing, is some of the hilarious stuff in the film. Although it still doesn't beat the sex scene in Phantasm II when he's banging Alchemy and he goes, "You've got such a lovely shaped head, Reg," and she's like riding like a cowboy, which is still the high watermark of all of the Reg sex scenes, the Alchemy Phantasm II one. But this one you do get he in the dream sequence, he does actually get with her at one point, but it just happens to be a dream, and then he gets distracted and pulled away.
He's willing to make a
need your bloody
kid.
attention.
He's willing to make a kid sleep in the car so he can try and get it on.
Yeah, but once again, that is hilarious when he's telling the kid, like, no, in the background, and then, you know,
Be cool, man, be cool.
It's complete broad comedy stuff, that, you know.
Yeah.
So the tone of this one is a bit more up and down than some of the others, but because this one just does have more comedy in it. And once you get on board with that, then you have to learn to love it. But if that's not your thing, then it can be a bit disruptive to the flow.
I feel like Reggie's sex life at this point is like assuming that by the end of the series, all the tall man stuff is gone, put to bed, and he just gets on with a normal life. I don't know what kind of trust issues you've been left with. The second anyone showed any interest in you sexually, you'd be like, nah, because I'm going to look down in a minute and you're going to be horrible zombie woman with a split head, or worse, perhaps,
doesn't seem to
your
have
hair will
affected
come off
him
and
now.
you'll be the bloody Tallman again.
It's been a while for Reg.
He's still on it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
you have
we
huge
don't want to jump
intimacy
ahead because we're
issues.
still going to have to do Phantasm 4, but there is that great scene in Phantasm 4, which we will talk about on
Yeah.
the
Next time.
when we get there.
Next
But
time.
that's another great part of Reggie's failed sex life.
He keeps at it. He does keep at it. You can't blame a guy for trying. Aaron, what about you? How do you feel about Phantasm 3? Obviously, we're not going to cover too many plot points before we get into it, but
Oh, sorry. If I
no,
It's all right. Don't
that's
worry.
absolutely fine.
I was jumping around the timeline a bit
We're
on that.
spoiling the whole damn thing. So if you're listening to this episode, yeah,
And if there's one thing people come to Horror Hangout for, it's certainly a really tight continuity.
One thing's for sure. Before anyone watches this episode, they should definitely have watched all of Phantasm anyway. And if they haven't, they should pause this, go watch Phantasm films, and
Do it.
then start it up again.
I'm going to have to excuse myself from that one. I've never seen part 4.
Yeah, but fortunately, we're doing part 3, so you're okay.
Thank goodness. Yeah, I watched them ahead of watching them, but I actually didn't even watch this one for the first time until today. After I experienced 2 for the first time, I was like,
well,
no,
then
I'm going to save it until Jake and Aaron are
Good to
coming
save
back.
it for you
Oh,
guys.
well, cool. Yeah.
definitely.
Well, like I said, well, 4 you're going to love as well, I think. But this one is a lot of fun. I'm sorry, Aaron. Yeah.
No. I was just gonna say I really envy you because the last time we did Phantasm 2, I'd only ever seen the first 2, but since then I've gone on to watch 3, 4, and 5. Jake doesn't talk about 5 because it's not a Coscarelli film, but I
I will talk about it, but I've only seen it once because, but it doesn't feel like canon Phantasm to me because it is. I think that Don ended it perfectly in 4. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. For me, I agree with Jake. The first one is the one that I will always go back to, and again, it was one of those films you watch, and all of a sudden, your spectrum changes, and you think, "Oh God, that when you watch A Nightmare on Elm Street for the first time, Evil Dead for the first time, all those, and then you watch Phantasm for the first time, it's like, oh my God, this is genius! Like I need to watch it again just to wrap my brain around it." And then Phantasm 2 is the Hollywood sequel, or the bigger budget sequel, which I absolutely adore. I ran a film club, or was part of a film club last year, and I kept telling Jake about it, and he was like, "Get them to watch Phantasm," and they did. And then we ended up watching the opening of Phantasm 2, and we had to pause it for ages because of that line that Reggie gives about, "Oh, that story you told me about me blowing up my house because it was infested with midgets." And everyone fell about laughing their heads off. And I eventually went on to watch
He was short, brown, and low to the ground.
Short, brown, and low to the ground. That's probably a gopher in heat, It's but I went on to watch. I was actually in Sicily just to show off a little bit here. I was in Sicily when I watched 3 and 4 back to back, and I think I was texting Jake at the time. I was going, "This, I absolutely love 3. For me, it is 1, then 2, then 4, then 3, and then 5. But that's not saying that I don't love 3 at all in any way, even if there is no Lord of the Dance in it. It's actually a lot of fun with the kid as well, Tim. There are little moments, like Jake was saying in the film, that that are like gold nuggets. Like there's little things as well, like the way that when Reggie gets out of the boot of the car, which we'll cover, but it's the way that Reggie talks to Tim like he's an equal in age, like the way he sort of has,
Well, he's an equal intellectually.
Yeah, you would say that, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just, yeah.
If anything, Tim knows more than Reg. That's what's so funny about the way that they decide to play a lot of those scenes.
I know, but it's brilliant though. Like even the recreation of the scene from the first one where they're by the fireplace and he's talking about how the tall man took his parents and things like that, and it's reminiscent of the first film. But
no, but that's very much paying homage to the first movie and having a character like Mike. But I think what it doesn't have in the same way that the first Phantasm, which I think is the glue that really attracts people to it, is the relationship between the two brothers in the first Phantasm, and Jody looking up to his younger brother, and that dynamic in this one isn't quite the same because obviously, Reggie comes along and okay, he may be playing become the sort of older brother type role, but in a sense, it hasn't quite got that same thing. And I think that first Phantasm is quite special because that has that. This feels a bit more of a rerun of that, and if anything, it's almost like Tim is kind of almost too fully formed. He's already a perfect shot. He doesn't get the lecture about if you aim at a man, you shoot to kill.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no warning shots of bullshit line in this.
Yeah, no, but I still,
which is one of the greatest lines in cinema.
Yeah, exactly. No, you got no arguments to me on that one. But I do love the introduction of Rocky and Tim. I love the car chase in it. There are so many silly, goofy moments, like Jake was saying, where they plays the comedy. But I absolutely love it, especially the climax scenes as well. There's a lot of slapstick in it as well. Like there's one bit which absolutely makes me piss myself, and that's the bit where there's a fight scene going on where Rocky's trying to protect Reggie, and she's got the nunchucks out, and she takes a swing and she knocks Reggie out.
That's a brilliant moment. I mean, that's a lovely bit of comedy. But Reggie can never win. Even at the point she's called him, don't you bitch, get away from my boy, and then he's the first.
Yeah, he gets bashed. Exactly. Yeah, but I love the continuation of it. I don't think I prefer 2 as a sequel just because it's Phantasm in the 80s and a lot more shit gets blown up, but also I just love the story and how he tackled the sequel. But we'll talk about 4 another day. But 3 is still high ranking up there. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Jake, it was a straight to video movie.
Yeah, well, it was because the second one, which was like a $10 million movie, which was funded by Universal and distributed by Universal. Unfortunately, it didn't make enough money back for them to want to finance another film. But they said to Don that if he did do a third film, that they would do the release on it. But then when they saw the film, they decided that they wouldn't really do a proper theatrical release, and it actually got held. And Don was a bit upset by that because he put a lot of effort into part 3, trying to make it as commercial and kind of fun as possible. But in a sense, it then went straight to video, and it was held for about over a year before it came out on video in 1995. In the end,
that's such a strange thing because for me, I read them 2 and 3, having watched them both sort of in continuity for discussing them with this exact group. They feel like they're so much of a piece with each other. For me, there's a less experienced viewer. I think it is because they run so well chronologically into one another.
Don. One thing that Don always did in every Phantasm film is he leaves it on a kind of cliffhanger, and he picks up from the same moment and starts the next film there.
This whole series so far has been such a good. Like it is almost like watching. And to be fair, if soap operas are to survive in this modern era, they probably need to take a few lessons from Phantasm. Like get these wild and wacky and over the top things happening. I bet things that aren't that much stranger than this happen in EastEnders all the time. Like, bring the tall man in as the new landlord of the Queen Vic.
And watch the shit out of.
I think they should do that. Yeah, that's
get out of my pub.
Bring one of the stakeouts into EastEnders and have people disappearing.
No, Jake, Phantenders.
Phantenders.
I'd watch Phantenders.
Have Nasty Mick come back in a barrel as a dwarf.
Yes.
Or he could just, all of a sudden, horrible Trevor comes in. He's one of the balls and he teleports and he can sometimes be himself. What a time!
I've always thought EastEnders needs more Phantasm balls.
Yeah, if soap operas were more like Phantasm, I would watch soap operas.
You'd be there every week, wouldn't you? You'd be on the omnibus on a Sunday, Jake, if you stuck in. And then I think as a result of that, as it is so, I'm not sure if it's just the close proximity and continuity or the very fact that they go to the effort of giving you a little recap. It's only just short of going previously on Phantasm and getting a little bit to just bring you back up to speed. Because I watched Phantasm II a year plus ago when we talked about it, and then for a few moments as it first began, I think my first thing I turned to myself and said, thank goodness they're doing this recap. Some mad shit happened in this last one.
Yeah.
And
I know
could
what
I
you mean.
remember it beat for beat? No. But then by the time that recap finished, I was like, of course, the
I
tall
remember
man
now.
was the
Yeah.
sexy woman at the end that he picked up. And then here we are
And then
with
swapping in A. Michael Baldwin cleverly, just in case you thought
Well,
it was the other guy.
one fun thing about that recap is obviously that you don't get any recap shots of
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a
forget about
recap.
No
him.
one will ever
It's a
know.
very reg orientated recap until the end. You have the little trick shot, and you reintroduce a Michael Baldwin as
Like
as the Michael character.
wonderful like technique, which I'd never thought which maybe you would never expect from if you're a movie snob. You'd never expect from the Phantasm, but we're always talking about horror inspiring other things and films that went on to make a lot of money. Phantasm 3, do not tell me unless you're a liar that Shane Black didn't watch this and think, I'm going to steal the idea of that little wee boy who's dead good for Iron Man 3. The kid
Yeah,
from Iron Man 3 is Tim.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
The hero just meets this really capable little kid that helps
Yeah.
him get over his problems.
But having said that, also, but Don also does admit that he did bring a kind of like I think he called it a maniacal version of Home Alone to this film.
Yeah.
Because
I
he
don't
did
think-
he did a nod to that with Tim and his booby traps in the house.
I
And,
can't imagine Kevin McAllister brandishing a revolver at any point, but
Or he's playing
Oh, just
frisbee.
chucking an axe at Marb's face.
Jesus.
but Kevin Connors, however, will be branding revolvers.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, in terms
If
of
you
the
don't stop this, mate, I'm going to throw this frisbee, right?
I was thinking that with the frisbee, that would be horrible if someone threw that. I don't know what to do. I'd be
That was
like,
a perfect aim as well.
yeah, great aim. I hope there's no
So
dogs.
she threw it sort of into the air.
Yeah,
But
there was
the
no
natural thing with a frisbee is to try and catch it and throw it
Yeah.
back, though, isn't it? But he just lets it. He just watches it as it floats and just ribs his neck open beautifully.
I'm glad there weren't any dogs around. I was really scared for that.
Yeah,
So
that bad man's problem is he tries to block it in the
Yeah.
style of someone from a WWF game. He just sort of sticks his chest out, and just pops it right in the neck.
But tonally, that is one thing that is quite different between Phantasm 3 and Phantasm 1, though, because like I say, the fact that Tim, like this kid, could make that frisbee is actually in the first Phantasm when Mike just gets locked in his bedroom by his brother Jody, he figures a way out using the shotgun shells to blow up the lock, which is
Yeah.
a much more process orientated thing.
This is a film of ingenuity, and then
Yeah,
like
yeah,
for a
but,
series that
he's
follows
using
the
hammer
quad
and gaffer
shotgun.
tape and a shell to escape from his room. Whereas in this one, this guy can actually Tim can build a fully functional killer frisbee.
So yeah, in terms of
Good
the cast,
times.
we got obviously Angus Scrimm as a tall man, Michael Baldwin as Mike Pearson, Reggie Bannister as Reggie, Bill Thornbury as Jodie Pearson, Kevin Connors as Tim, Gloria Lynn Henry as Rocky. That's kind of it in terms of the cast, isn't it? Very established, very awesome cast of characters. And we start with the film immediately after the events of Phantasm II, after his apparent demise at the end of that film. A new tall man emerges from his dimension fork, as you do. And yeah, we pick up with the action straight from that point, don't we?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
you get straight back into it. That's the great thing about Don. He doesn't fuck around. He gets you into an action set piece straight away.
The tall man causes a car accident and then is here to collect.
Yeah.
Also, Reggie took out 3 of the little fellas in the sky with
I
one
love that
shotgun
moment.
blast.
So good.
One shotgun blast and
But-
3
but
of them
it-
drop
but
out.
but it is that is also a strange bit of continuity. I mean, it's a gag, but you
Yeah.
know, but the fact that they fall from different sides of the screen is a bit
Yeah.
bizarre because the shotgun isn't orientated like a sort of
Yeah.
like that. It's
Hasn't
straight
got
up.
a serious spray to it,
Yeah.
unless he's upgraded. his
Classic
shotgun, of course.
buckshot
Yeah.
spread.
I mean, I don't know. Don might have he might have shot. I don't know if he would have had Reggie shooting across there, but I wonder if there was another take and he thought it was funnier just if he
Yeah.
shoots once and 3 people fall out.
It is funny.
I'd need to ask Donna, but it's one of those fun. It does make you laugh when it does it because obviously you just get the drop.
Yeah.
Yeah, so well comedically timed, but they're quickly overwhelmed by more of those lads.
Yeah.
And this is where he goes for the mutually assured destruction method and goes, right, grenade,
Yeah,
get to
well,
fuck,
Obviously,
mate.
he finds Liz dead as well after the car accident, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
her
this
face
is
is mutilated.
This is a real Alien Free situation where you're like immediately just going to kill one of the surviving characters from the previous film, or more than one, in Alien Free's instance. But yeah, it's a big choice. Was it just because they couldn't get her back or something like that for the full film?
I assume that they probably couldn't get her back, or she wanted too much money,
Yeah.
or Don just wanted to come up with new characters. So
Yeah. Dead.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, in Phantasm, if you kill somebody, though, there's always the option to bring them back,
Oh my
because
God, yeah.
because obviously, like we hadn't seen. It's in the second film, his brother Jody was dead, but in the third film, he found a way of bringing Jody back.
Been rimmered, hasn't he? He's back.
Yeah,
It's been rumored.
yeah. but I think that's the great thing about the Phantasm films. I think that they decided, because it's a much more like kind of Reggie centric thing. They wanted to put Reggie with a girl that was going to be more fun, and I think that's certainly, it feels like the Rocky thing is trying a different kind of character we hadn't seen before. I know that's a bit later on, but
Yeah.
she's like the new version of Alchemy or Chemi from part 2, and that was, because I think that stuff really works in the second one, and a lot of people enjoyed Reggie's failed sex life, and definitely those characters. There's that link.
Don really looked at the thing and said, well, there's no way I could have Kemi use nunchucks, and these are fairly essential to the plot of this character, so I'm afraid you've got to go. We have got to replace you with someone new.
She was actually trained in the martial arts, wasn't she? Gloria Lynn Henry.
Gloria Lynn Henry,
well.
yeah.
So I was like, are you good with the nunchucks? Well, yeah, I'm pretty good, actually. Hired.
But it's also great. It's also great casting, though, because she's got like a kind of like, she's like a sort of 90s version of a Pam Grier type, though. She's got a really wonderful look to her, and that slightly militaristic and maybe a bit aliensy as well. There's something about Gloria as Rocky that she's got a real strength to her as a character, hasn't she? She's great, But when Reggie was trying to sort of have sex with her, he should have tried the grenade move with her. He didn't go the full way, did he? With the tall man, he did it, but with Rocky,
he really didn't take no for an answer, did he? And I like how he just immediately got down to it. He didn't go, well, I'll sleep on the floor, and then if I get cold, he just went, no, I'm sleeping in the bed. And also,
what I love is that they both packed their jammies.
Yeah, he's got racing car bottoms, which I thought was quite funny.
Yeah. He's running from the tall man at the end. Or better get my PJs on.
Better get my PJs and my toothbrush.
See, if that was Tom Atkins, he would have had no problem.
Yeah,
absolutely.
See?
So obviously, so he threatens to kill them all with the grenade at the start, and the tall man just retreats with Liz's head. But he promises,
I don't want him in pieces.
But not a normal grenade, a grenade with a flashing red light.
Yeah.
Which isn't, that's not a grenade I've seen before in a film.
No.
Certainly up to that point.
Hybrid between standard Earth grenade and Star Wars thermal detonator.
Yeah. And that's why the tall man goes, oh, I ain't messing with him. I'll come back.
I don't want to get blown up.
I've
already come back for it. I've already come back once.
I don't want this lad in pieces. Arguably, what happens to him, what he does with him when he gets him, maybe he shouldn't have cared. But no, he goes, for the moment, I don't want him in pieces. So,
but technically, once again, the tall man doesn't give a shit about Reggie. It's more the fact that it's Michael that he wants, and that's the whole thing, isn't it? Like Reggie's even second best when it comes to being, killed. He's not even poor tall man's not even bothered about him.
You think at this point they'd be like, this guy who I always just sort of knock out but don't kill, ultimately has foiled my plans on multiple occasions at this point. Should I just put the effort? No.
Should I just do him in? Nah, can't be bothered.
Nah.
So it's 2 years later, and this is when a comatose and hospitalized Mike has a near-death experience, and that is when he sees his brother Jody.
It's that woman who says, get into the bloody light, mate.
Yeah, what's that about? That's not a very good nurse, is it?
Yeah.
I've got to crack off in a bit.
That's the opposite to what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, go towards the light, it'll be fine.
Your hospital stats are going to be bottoming out.
But that's because the nurse, as we find out, is Team Tallman, and they want him dead. So that's why,
they're all
it's the nightmare.
Tallman,
it's the nightmare. It's not the go into light, you'll be okay. It's go into light and join the Tallman gang.
Yeah. So I wonder, like, if there had been an extra scene where the Tallman was in his base, thinking, right, got to try and get him covertly, because if I go at him straight away, Reggie will blow him up. So you go in there, and like I imagine her sitting there, like, yep. You go in there and just, before you kill him, absolutely, stick him with something if you have to. Have this drill arm put in you. But originally, just go and try and subtly nudge him towards going to the light.
Just give him a little...
Convince him to die,
Sit by his bed and read him sad poems.
As Reggie had his thumb on the grenade for 2 years as well, just in case it comes back. Oh God! And I'm the arm at the shower with this.
The vending machine at the hospital is like out of quavers. Right. It's eating my 50p, and as you'll see, it's just stuck against the glass. Can someone open this for me? So the engineer is then right. Pull the pin. Right, seconds.
The grenade
Oh,
is
right,
the
I've got
answer
the-
to everything. But Mike awake. Well, he sees the tall man in his little near-death dream, doesn't he? And when he awakes, he's attacked by a demonic nurse. I wonder, for 2 years, has he just been chilling, the tall man? He's not really attempted to get him. But then 2 years hits and he goes, right, that's it. Let's get back to it.
It's a very Dr. Evil plan. He has to wait for him to wake up before he can kill him.
Yeah, yeah.
I have to wait for him to on the verge of waking up
Yeah.
from that coma.
It's no fun when you do it when he's asleep.
Yeah.
Reggie arrives as she dies. How does she die? The demonic nurse. Who does her in?
He sticks her
she-
with his IV.
Yeah, she gets stuck with an IV and then does
about that long.
She gets a lovely bit of yellow,
Oh yeah.
quite reminiscent at the end of Phantasm II. She gets a lovely yellow, spurty yellow blood like
Looks
sequence.
like a frog.
Yeah, big frog neck.
Big
He
frog
gets
neck.
the English
She's been
mustard.
frog-necked.
And as she bursts, she gets some of her ooze into Reggie's mouth. He's having a bad time already.
Yeah.
Reggie just
But-
turns out all right.
Just in terms of the hospital sequence, one of the most important thing for fans, if they're for people who really want to look closely, and it's covered in my documentary Phantasmagoria. There's a scene where there's a doctor and a nurse with Mike in the hospital, and the doctor is Angus Scrimm, and the nurse is the Lady in Lavender character from Phantasm I. That's her cameo in this film. It's a blink,
nice.
it's a blink and you'll miss it moment. And she was like quite disappointed that she only got cast for that very brief moment. So, but for big Phantasm fans, you go, oh my God, that's the tall man's female alter ego, the Lady in Lavender, who is that
That's
fascinating character from Phantasm, the first one, or the transsexual side of the tall man himself, as we found out. So that's a blink or you miss it little moment, but it's nice to know it's in
How
there.
did nobody notice the tall man disguised as a doctor? Who's that massive bloke over there?
Yeah, that doctor looks a bit tall.
That's Dr.
talking
Tallman.
about,
Don't take
Buddy
any notice of him.
That should have been on his name tag, Dr.
Tallman.
But like I said, I think that sequence is in. I think it's in this release. But if it's not, the footage is in the Phantasmagoria documentary, where, like I say, because we interviewed Kathy Lester, who plays Lady in Lavender, and she's great. So it's just it's a really nice Easter egg for real like Phantasm deep cut fans.
Yeah.
Just going to throw this out there. Phantasmagoria does appear on the Arrow box set, but in pieces, so it's spread across. So they've chopped it up, Jake.
Okay.
So
The
they've
Falls, it plays better as a long,
Yeah.
If people need to buy the original Anchor Bay, the Anchor Bay original.
There it is.
Phantasm
there we
Sphere,
go.
and it's in there.
But if you like it in bite size, you can get it on the Phantasm box set. Just
There
saying.
you go.
Yeah.
Ever's good.
Anyone listening to the audio, the video is paying dividends this week, everybody. Get stuck
yeah.
in.
Yeah, what were they talking about?
Yeah.
So yeah, her scalp bursts open, reveals one of the cranial spheres, takes off through the window after seeing Mike awake, and then they go back to Reggie's house. I guess you can just check him out. You're awake now, are you? You've been comatose for a while. Get yourself down to my gaff.
I guess the hospital administrators are busy mopping up that woman. They probably didn't notice you checking him out.
Yeah.
Who's been eating egg? It's everywhere.
When the sphere comes out of her head, though, it's also got that great shot where the eyeball comes out of it, which is the first
Yeah.
time we've seen that in a Phantasm sphere, seeing the little eyeball going tick tick tick,
That
then
eyeball
it smashes out,
attachment.
which is a great. I love that kind of shot. That
It's
shot
very
is-
Dalek-y, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so then we're at Reggie's house now, and that's when the tall man arrives via dimensional fork, overpowers Reggie, and transforms Jodie into a charred sphere.
Oh yeah, because this is where we see Sphere Jodie as Rimmer,
Sphere
right? He comes
Jodie,
up and
yeah,
goes,
Yeah,
"All right, it's me."
And Sphere Jodie is the only sphere in the Phantasm universe which is the black sphere, because after he
Oh.
gets, after you will get to that bit where he gets heated up, but he ends up being the black sphere,
Yeah,
and
easy to recognize.
And the actor who played that, he was really great fun. We interviewed about him, and he was joking about, well, hey, I'm one of the few actors who has actually played a black ball.
Yeah.
More like a magic 8 ball when he's shaking him, going, "Tell me."
It's exactly that when he shakes it around.
Yeah.
Tell me where
it's
to
got
go.
a sound like a magic 8 ball on it as well.
The role
But
in
you're missing
Hollywood
that,
to play.
Ben. You're missing that great line from Jodie though, where it's like, "No, you can't touch me. I'm not a full power yet," or whatever that line is.
I don't have
yeah.
the juice to maintain this.
I don't have the juice. I'm like, what?
You're dead. Yeah, but don't touch
I haven't got the ball juice.
I just explain. Like he never at any point explains that I'm sort of a ballman now. Sometimes I'll be like this. Sometimes I'll be a ball. The tall man comes up and goes, "Let me." Uses his telekinesis powers that he has to go. Let me make sure you're visually different from all the other balls we may see in this film, so the audience know. And then, how do they escape the tall man here? Oh no, he doesn't. He doesn't he rob?
He draws Mike through the gate with him.
Yeah,
Draws
Yeah.
him in.
slaps him
Oh,
off.
no, he basically nicks Mike, and
He gets him.
but you've got to say that Reggie missed a trick because he should have done the old hand grenade thing again, shouldn't he? Like,
Yeah. You think I've
Special
thrown this
movie.
away?
yeah, so, that was a winning move before, but he completely.
It's a
fluffed
winning
it
move.
on
You
that.
can only do it once every couple of years, and then maybe at the end of
Well,
this film, you could try
Yeah.
again.
There should have
He-
been.
he-
There
he
should have been a
just got a
tall
whole
man
bunch
plan.
of those grenades though. So every time the tall man showed up trying to nab.
You still
Mike.
have one like a key ring on you all this time. Maybe the tall man's plan should have been right. How can I get him to trade that grenade for something else? Or swap it out for a dud.
And then he goes and fucks up his hallway. Really inconsiderate.
So what happens next? So Reggie next morning travels to Holtsville, Idaho, which is where the Jody Sphere mentions. Like I'm referring to Jody as the Jody Sphere now. That's a good character name. Upon arrival, Reggie finds it's a ghost town, and he gets attacked by 3 bloody looters.
Teach him a lesson for staring at that woman's bum while she's just looking in a car.
Yeah, more than once as well.
Yeah.
There's some proper
He gets a good look, and then
But that whole car sequence when he first kind of approaches her and she turns around, she's got that kind of leather-studded bra and stuff on. We're thinking this is going to be like his first attempt at chatting a girl up, and once again because it's Reg, it goes wrong fairly instantly, and he's being mugged.
She goes, "All right, give me that gun you've just fired all the bullets out of." He gets a bonk on the head.
gets a bonk on the head. They lock him in the trunk of his 1970s Barracuda. That's a lovely car as well, isn't it?
Well, that is there's different Hemicudas in the film, and this is Don's favorite. This is the actual one with the actual Hemicuda engine, and this is the convertible. Don owns. He's still got this one, and he's got the original one. But he always wanted a Plymouth like Hemi when he was a kid. But this is the genuine. This is the genuine Plymouth with the Hemi engine itself, and it's the convertible, and it's only in this film. I think this is the one. Might be in 4, but Don owns this one and one of the other ones.
Luckily, a lot of trunk space because Reggie gets put in there.
It's a good family car, surprisingly.
What are these looters planning to do with him? Because they don't seem like the types who would like keep a prisoner for whatever.
Give him the boot.
But they might want to go through his pockets, but nobody wants to touch his balls.
Yeah. So they go to a house and break in, and this is where Tim with the like mask from Happy Death Day. It looks like a bit like that mask, doesn't it? And this is where Home Alone Extreme happens. So what have we got? We've got like an axe. Yeah. What are the traps to get laid?
Well, I think the best trap is when the look up on the ceiling. And you've got the figure clutching onto the ceiling, and you do think it's going to be somebody who's going to drop down and attack them, but then it just swings down and it's got bladed knives on it, and I think that's my favorite trap. That one,
I feel like he should have had a better plan there because he gets caught pretty much immediately, doesn't he, old Tim?
Yeah, I mean, he does. He's not as good as Macaulay Culkin in terms of repelling home invaders.
Macaulay Culkin, he keeps them at arm's length all the time.
I mean, Macaulay Culkin could hold them off for an entire film. I mean, Tim lasts for about 3 minutes, 2.5 minutes.
Thankfully, he's a stone cold killer.
But he does kill, but he does kill them.
He hasn't got the killer moves of Culkin.
Yeah,
he literally murders them though. But I guess Culkin he essentially does kill them. These
Yeah, but also, but he murders them, but they then do come back to literally
so it's
as
fine.
zombies.
Yeah.
So
But
fine,
it's literally
So in
Home
the eyes of the
Alone
law,
in a
that's fine.
hallway, though.
Which also though gives Reggie a second bite at the cherry at Edna, the one with the curly hair. Because
Oh,
remember,
yeah, of course.
he does actually successfully get ahead of her.
He does. He does. Don't know
Spoilers.
the
Sorry,
Spoilers,
spoilers
yeah.
ahead.
So Tim kills the looters. Obviously, kills one of them with like axe to the face. The other one with the frisbee of doom. And does he just pop a cap on the other one? The old
Yeah, the
guy?
other one falls down a pit.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And
He
he goes,
approaches.
He falls down a pit that nobody's seen up until
No,
that point.
but that is like that's like the bit in Home Alone 2 when they open the door and they get in. And they go, "Harry, I've reached the top. The whole floor is
Yeah.
completely gone," and he just falls straight into. Only look directly ahead at all times.
So
But then
he falls into a pit, and then what's he do? Do you just stand over it and shoot him
Yeah,
dead?
he just flat out kills him.
Shoots him
You
in
don't
cold
see
blood.
it. You hear it from the
You
boot
know
of the car.
the three home invaders. One of them is played by a guy called John Davis Chandler, who plays the character of Henry on that. And for some reason, I think this might be just entirely by accident, but it might not be. But I don't know why. But when I see that character, he's the guy in the kind of purple suit. But he really reminds me. He looks like Wes Craven.
Yeah, it
Oh,
does.
really?
He looks like a young Wes Craven, and I
Yeah.
don't know if Don did that deliberately or not, but I always like to think he did, because it's almost like having Wes Craven as a house invader, going back to which would be like Wes's early roots, from Last House on the Left, where
yeah.
it's about that house
Even in
invasion.
Nightmare on Elm Street, he does like
Yeah.
his setting the traps.
Exactly, yeah. So, anyway, that guy just reminds me of Wes Craven. I don't know if it did with you guys, but he's the guy in the purple suit.
I was going with his aesthetic, and he reminds me of like a friendly shopkeeper from a children's program of the 80s.
Done up like a tinker. Though. They've all got all the jewelry on. I guess all the jewelry that they've stolen
Yeah.
as well. But they're all done up like Mr. T.
Yeah, I like the dollar sign, the archetypal 80s dollar sign
Yeah,
around
but,
his neck.
and also they've got the fucking pink extended convertible
Oh, yeah.
thing.
So after Tim murders all these people in cold blood, and he's got absolutely no.
After this 10-year-old boy absolutely eviscerates 3 adults.
Are we supposed to believe that he's like that because his dad was? Did he say his dad was a state trooper or something like
That's
that?
the sheriff.
Sheriff. Okay, so are we supposed to believe that like just because of that he's capable and he can operate a firearm and stuff
He's
like that?
inherited the perchance. I guess he has been on his own for some amount of
Yeah.
time, right?
he's-
He does say he practiced with the gun.
Yeah.
You know,
But this is the thing, the Tim characters are much more fully formed action character than Reg.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true.
Yeah, like he's an expert shot straight off the bat. I mean, the guy,
To be fair, like Reg at this point should have just said, Tim, do you want to save my mate, please?
just employed him to go ahead. Yes.
Yeah.
Can you sort it out?
Yeah.
Tim is ready to kill Reggie as well, but Reggie just says, "Obviously, I'm not with them because I'm in the boot." And
Yes, fair enough then.
And he goes, "Fair enough, yeah." And he gives him a bit of backstory, explains sort of what happened, how the tall man took his parents, destroyed Holtzville. Oh yeah, and there was that bit where like his dad's body
Came back to life and strangled his mum.
came back to life, and strangled his mum. Yeah. Then Reggie and Tim, did they? Oh yeah, they bury the home invaders. But the next day, Reggie and Tim find the 3 graves empty and the pink hearse gone. Who could have done that? Who could have stolen that?
Who nicked that pink hearse with those graves being empty?
Yeah,
They suspect grave diggers.
Yeah.
it's probably just a load of grave
Reverse
diggers.
grave diggers.
Reverse.
Hang on. You've buried these people illegally. This is our industry. They will be at our mortuary. If you want to pay for them to be properly buried, we will accept your business. Thank you very much.
But when we did graves, we wear gas masks. That's
So the 2 depart Holtzville. Reggie attempts to leave Tim at an orphanage. I'm assuming an abandoned orphanage.
Not an orphanage, just a woman's house where she has happened to take in some orphans.
Hey, you got loads of kids in here. Yeah, I've got loads of kids here. Do you want another one?
I'll give you.
You're good at this.
$58 to take him on, and while he's talking, because we don't see that conversation, because it's skillfully done, unnecessary dialogue. We know from just seeing them holding out some money that's what's happening. You see Tim looking at it, but I love the little scene of children playing, whereby it's like, here, have a drink out of this hose. He just squirts him in the face with it.
Brick.
Tim just hides in the trunk of his car, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Nah.
and I like how he gives the lady.
Which the audience and both the character, the adopted mum, also is treated to him just lifting it up and peeking up with a little cheeky laugh as he goes off with Reg.
I like the way that she got, didn't want her to worry, even though she was only his
she's
adopted
happy
mum
to take
for
the money though.
8
She's happy.
seconds.
Yeah,
He was like,
$58
"Don't worry
up.
about me, I've escaped."
But Reg made the wrong play there. Like you said, he should have been the one paying. Can you keep me here while we just send off Tim? But remember, Tim can drive the car as well. I mean, Tim's fully formed action hero. Guy.
Are any more of your orphans absolute stone cold killers? Because they recruit some.
Yeah, but he smokes 40 a day, Tim. He's a stone cold killer. He can drive a car. He's got PTSD.
Yeah.
He's a good kid.
Yeah. He doesn't miss a single shot in this film.
No, you would definitely want him with you. Like, do you know what I mean? He's the right companion.
Can I put Tim on my Mount Rushmore, by the way?
So,
but no, I think Don was definitely playing into that kind of fantasy because he wanted to appeal to a younger audience with that character, definitely. And it's that fantasy thing of like kids being, oh, we're allowed to do things we're not allowed to do, like driving and drinking and driving cars and shooting guns. And it's I think that I think this is why this Phantasm probably appeals to people who are a certain age when they saw it. Whereas to me, I was a little bit older. I mean, I was like 25 when I saw this, so to me, I wanted it
bloody kids get out of here.
I wanted the darker stuff, but as I've got older, I've appreciated that comedy stuff more, I think.
And we're all getting up there now, lads. We'll be approaching the age where it's like, Toolman's got a point, actually. Everyone could just fuck off and be dead.
Should we get into that age? I'm already there.
Yeah. I exclusively turn up at events now through a dimensional fork.
but also the tall man missed the trick, because if he had to actually killed Tim quite quickly, he wouldn't have had to worry about compress him as a dwarf. He was already at the right height.
Yeah,
that's true.
Or if you compress a child, do you get an even smaller one?
Or maybe like a mini dwarf, mini
lower and brown and close to the ground. Closer to the ground.
If he had done that, then he would have to. His normal minions would become the tall man, and he would have to be the tallest man at that point, because he'd have three delineations.
You got the hierarchy there going on.
Yeah.
So
what happens next? They're driving along. Is this where we meet our other
this
companions?
is when they go to a mausoleum, and that's when they encounter a sphere, and that's when they get accosted by two young women, Tanisha and Rocky, and that's before he can destroy it.
I love this. He's about to destroy the sphere, and then all of a sudden, he's immediately gagged with a leather strap. He's like, "Oh no!"
Again,
Reggie is into this. He likes being handcuffed. He likes being gagged by a leather strap. He's all for it.
I'm immediately suspicious if the first part of a kidnapping is leather strap in the mouth. You'd be like, "Oh no!" I feel like this is one of the worst kinds of kidnapping.
The worst.
It's got a certain different energy to it, more so than a bag over the head, I feel.
Oh yeah. So Reggie tries to
if
warn them.
If the sphere hadn't come along at that point, what were their intentions with Reggie?
Yeah.
Is that what we're thinking? I mean,
they just battered him to death, I think. They even nunchucked his head to dust.
Nunchucked.
Reggie tries to warn them, and that's when Tanisha gets killed by the sphere. This is a great shot because we can just see it burrowing into her skull. And we can see
she just stands there
in the reflection.
She doesn't do anything. She just sort of stands there and gets bald.
Just like, what the hell's happening? As you would be.
Balled out like a melon.
Yeah, but then we do get one of the greatest shots of the sphere shots where it does the barrel on the axis as it comes towards Lynn Henry as Rocky. That is such a I love that shot. It's beautiful.
Tim appears. Where were you, Tim? And then destroys.
20 minutes to get out of the boot. Come on.
Tim appears just in time to save Reg, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Because he's such a good shot. But remember, Reg is going to go for it himself, but then the kid just turns up and casually shoots the sphere out the air.
Save your ammo, Reg. I'm here. Bang.
I'll show you how it's done. Boom, boom. But making Reg look like the small man again in front of Rocky straight off the bat.
Yeah.
The real man there is Tim.
I think he's pretty happy immediately now to join forces with Tim. What does he say to him? He says something like, "You're going to come with us then if you want, I suppose. You saved me." Does he say you saved me twice, or is that already
No,
already
I think that's a bit later. He
a
says,
bit later? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you owe me, or and then Tim reminds him
You owe
that
me
he owes
too.
him. Yeah.
Let me drive.
Tim is keeping count.
Mm. They join forces with Rocky. She comes with them, but not straight away. She stays for a while. She does a somber kneel down next to her friend for a while first.
Yeah. She has to meet them on the road a little bit. How did you get there?
Yeah, how did she get there?
To be fair, because of the Tallman's tricks, this isn't what happened. So this is a spoiler in alternate dimension. But when she didn't come with them immediately, but re-met them later, and then Reggie tries to cop off with her, I'd be like, "Don't, Reggie, because the second your lips touch, she's going to be the tall man."
Yeah. I thought, was it because they got a bit lost? Did they get a bit lost and they asked?
Well, you've got to remember
direction?
when they drive away from that mausoleum as well. That is actually the moment when Reg does let Tim drive. So maybe
Yeah.
they're just driving around in a circle for
Yeah.
ages because he's a kid technically is driving.
true,
at that point.
yeah.
Just
So
doing
I thought
donuts in the McDonald's car park with
so
Panama
it could
on.
just be that Rocky just wanders down the road and manages to get way ahead of them.
Because that's when they use the Is that when they use the Jody sphere as like sat nav as well?
Oh,
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
much.
yeah.
Yes, that's it. It's an early form of sat nav. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
Turn
Yeah,
left.
like a turn left here, follow the ball, follow the floating ball, and that's obviously how they end up with Rocky. She gets in, and that is when they come across a convoy of hearses driven by gravers, and they decide to follow after them, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. They make a camp at night as well, don't they? They didn't stop at a motel yet, did they?
Oh, they stop at the motel first.
Motel's
then it's
first
the camp.
night. Yeah.
Motel's first night.
So
That's
Moto's the first night when Reggie's like, "Kid, I
Well,
know there's a tall man.
that's the bondage. That's bondage night for
Yeah.
Reg, isn't it?
It's like
You know.
sleep in the car, will you? Because
Yeah.
I want to try and have sex with my
I
new
hate the thought of
companion.
this. I'd get like pins and needles in my hands if I was up like that all night. I'm like, fucking hell, let me out.
I've been Gerald's gained. Help me.
I've been Gerald's
Gerald's
game.
game.
Don't make me deglove myself because I will.
Look,
It's-
I'm a man of a certain age. I'm
but
going to
is
get up
this where
2 or
we
3
get-
times for a piss.
Is this where we get the classic vanilla line though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is one
Don't
of
you
the
wanna
all-time
try
great
vanilla?
Reg lines.
Yeah, he says, "You ever tried vanilla? This is an even funnier joke because I'm an ice cream man."
Yeah.
That's like an onion. That joke.
Yeah.
It's a good joke. It's a good joke. But she stitches him right up, which I think he deserves it in a way. He's just a horn dog, isn't he? Of all the
It's a complete horn dog, and I think the fun thing is that you, as the audience, we enjoy seeing Reggie get rejected because he is a figure of fun in the sense of but he's so good humoured. You like to see you kind of want him to succeed, but you also want to see him fail because that's why Reg is such a fun character because he's really likable, but you also don't mind it when he fails.
There are a lot of similarities between him and Ash Williams, though, because we want to see both of those guys get hurt.
Yeah. He's protractedly sort of frustrated throughout the film, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Constantly blue-balled.
And he does, rather than saying, "Hey, come on now, I know it's a life or death situation, but sexual harassment has no place here." She does go, "I'm dead into it, actually." Ha! That was a joke. Handcuffed.
Got ya. Have that.
Handcuffed. This has become Mad Bants, and now you're handcuffed.
Yeah.
And then it's a nice night's sleep for her.
Yeah. And luckily they brought her jammies as well.
Yeah, they are fully jammied up, both of them. Even her who was travelling on the road with no bags.
Better bring my gym jams in case.
But with Reg, we do suspect he was always wearing those racing car shorts.
Yeah. Underneath him, like Superman's tights.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm already
Honestly,
jammed
fully
up.
wardrobed. I would have been surprised if they had, made a romantic connection and slept with each other. I would have seen him in his house coat in the morning, just walking around.
Yeah. So yeah, what happens is around about now when he starts having the dream sequence as well, where it.
Oh no, the dream
That's
sequence
the camp
happens.
out.
Yeah.
So yeah. So what
this-
happens?
You've got the camping scene where Reggie has another crack at her with the two to a bag is better.
Yeah.
Two to a bag.
But
Another ball joke.
It's when she rejects him, and then Tim just
Possibly
sort
one
of
of
looks at him.
the great sleeping bag gags in a film.
Yeah.
But it's the bit where Tim looks at him because he sort of turns around and Tim's been watching the whole time and he just gives him a smile.
No, but the dream sequence kicks off after the campsite.
Yeah.
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 So basically, they travel for another day, right? Did they have a close run-in with the grave robbers? Who
They do.
they almost they sort of smash the windows, but they're able to lose them and get back on the road.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's when they have their camp out, and Reggie having been rejected.
Yeah,
by
but then
Roxy.
Reggie goes into the dream and
Yes,
he goes
yes,
to the
yes.
Red Planet and meets the Sphere Jodie. And
Let's tell you what.
You're skipping
I'll just
over
dream
that.
about it then.
You're skipping over it. It's the sex scene, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
that's where you get the sex scene
Yeah.
because where
Yeah.
Reggie does actually succeed, and then
Jodie says, "You need to get behind me." I mean, get behind what I'm saying.
It's that
You don't
bit
want to be
where
misconstrued. He knows what Reggie's like.
it's that bit where he's going to town though, and he just looks and goes, "Oh, hey, Jodie," and he's still going. It's
but that's what's so great about, like I say, like the character of Reg is so great because he's having the sex scene, but he just turns around and does like I love the performance from Reggie Bannister as Reg
yeah.
because he's such a warm character in that. Oh, hi, Joe. You know, he makes all those things really natural stuff, which in some ways, if another actor did it, it would have been really sleazy and not acceptable. But with him, I still think it's so much fun watching him.
I think
in that
Reggie
role.
Bannister has immediately thought, he was like, yeah, I know it's a dream. Come on.
Yeah.
he's kind of disappointed. Again, he's been fucked out or not fucked. You know, it's like
Yeah. But I love the bit that when he goes through the door and he goes into the sort of dreamscape, the desert, and I mean, you can call it an interdimensional threshold or whatever you want to call it, but it's the only time in a film or a TV show or whatever where I've seen someone crossing an interdimensional threshold while putting their dick back in their trousers. And I thought, well, bravo, sir. That you don't see that on Star
Yeah.
Trek or Stargate or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I love that whole dream sequence, and I think that's what Don does so brilliantly. He transitions from that comedy into what becomes quite a surreal sequence, and this is where you start getting a real sense of the tall man and reintroducing properly Michael, who's trapped there, and it all of a sudden feels like that darker film, which I think more harkens to what Phantasm IV is. And these are the bits which I think I really like more because it's less comedy and becomes actually quite, it's got a kind of intensity to it.
And it wonderfully accelerates things as well as like showing, how the film works, where we have the world, we have different dimensions where the tall man and his minions are from, and then you have the power of dreams, whereby within a dream he's able to influence this other dimension. So it's kind of this crossing between the three.
Then that's what it's, and it has that real phantasm logic to it because things in, the whole idea of is it a dream, is it a ghost, is it an illusion, and phantasm always works well, better at that level when you're not quite sure what's real and what's not.
It's so wonderful. And well, I'll tell you what, we can go from the place that you were dreaming a minute ago out to this dry lake bed from your memories, and now we can go through into the Tallman's base.
Yeah.
And
well, Don was saying that was basically when they wanted to show the Red Planet, which was the Tallman's home planet where they do all of the dwarf conversion and stuff we get glimpses of, but because of the budget being him not having a big enough budget, they couldn't really find a way of realizing it. So you just see the interior of that base with the laser thing and stuff like that. There's the nice moment when you have the blue laser become the red light as the tall man enters into it and stuff like that.
It's really cool.
But Don originally wanted that to be a more spectacular sequence, but they just didn't have the money to do justice for the building this bigger world. But Roger Avery's unmade Phantasm 1999 would have expanded that idea because that's where obviously the unmade big budget version of Phantasm that never happened by Pulp Fiction co-writer Roger Avery, which is another story in itself, but a fascinating kind of adjunct to that. But Phantasm always had this great thing where it's like you find all of these sequences quite curious, and new people coming to Phantasm sometimes can't. You've got to make these leaps of logic with Phantasm, and
you've got to go with
and
it.
When you're happy to do it, it really rewards you as a fan. I think it really.
I kind of love how they basically go, and then I don't want to spoil the next film for the tall man's almost kind of encouraging, saying, "Well, you know how to get out of this thing that I've put you in." Not sure the Tallman ever intended for just stay there a minute. Your friend's going to come and laze you out of here.
But with that one though, he's actually talking about using your head because the sphere's in his head, and about the way to get out of it is to leave his body. So that bit of dialogue has a double meaning.
That's what he's coming at. Okay, so then
because then the end is about when you literally the thing inside of his head is like a gold sphere, which is like the tall man when he becomes a sphere. So the illusion is he's turning into him in some way.
very
Ironically,
I believe, but other people can read it differently. But that's what's great about Phantasm. It inspires you to really get into this strange headspace, which is what I love about that Phantasm world. It's very imaginative and very kind of leads you to have your own thoughts about it.
well, Jodie's unable to break out of that using his ball, so his brother uses his ball to get him out, I suppose.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
it's all about ball power.
yeah. Jodie helps him.
It's a film
Jodie
with all
helps
the
him
balls.
escape, and they're able to. So in this place that they've reached in the dream, they are basically able to bring everyone back together out of the campsite in the desert, so that the gang are reunited. And then one of my favorite moments of the film, the tall man, he's very prepared for a lot of things, right? He's always 2 steps ahead, like Bobby Fischer he is. But then when the gate appears and he comes out, the one thing as the tall man has to duck down to get through the gate is he doesn't expect to be coming out directly staring into the crotch of Reggie Bannister. He's like,
But also the fact that his hands are reaching out
first.
as well, which is
And
quite
he's-
funny.
and he's
the
like,
crotch is there, and he's going.
this is so embarrassing. The tall man in this one felt a lot like, imagine I did on my 10th birthday when I was at Waterworld in Stoke-on-Trent. And as we were running off to go in the rapids, I reached out and grabbed onto my friend Lewis's shoulder to say, "Oh, come on, we're all going to go this way." Turned around and it was not Lewis's shoulder, it was an adult woman's chest. Embarrassed. Thankfully, I was only 10. I was not going to be sent to prison. It was an innocent mistake, but I felt dreadful, and I imagine that's exactly how the tall man felt.
Where are
when he
you
came
calling
out.
us from, by the way? Are you in prison right now?
No, an island. No, if anyone, I was 10 years old. Criminal convictions
but
would have
you,
been
in
on
some
her.
ways, you were practicing your Reggie Bannister moves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this was I was definitely the tall man in that one.
Did you
Even as a
consider a
10-year-old,
career
I
in ice
was
cream?
mortified. I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Even as a 10-year-old, this is withering.
See, that sounds better than the film Waterworld, to be honest.
Yeah, probably more action.
But was it one of the greatest days of your life still?
Well, I mean, the rapids were excellent. What a time!
That's what she said.
What a time we had! All the slides. If you're in the Stoke-on-Trent area, cannot recommend it highly enough for a fun family day out. I don't know if it
Do a
still
lot of people have
exists.
flashbacks from that whole era of that border park?
Yeah, certainly.
She's probably on a podcast right now telling someone the same story.
How about a child?
He looks a bit like this kid Tim in this film. Fantastic.
yeah, he was a 10-year-old at heart, but I reckon he was a stone cold killer. If he had a hatchet at the time, it could have been all over. Yeah, so the tall man, ever so embarrassed that he's so no, I wasn't going to give Reggie a gobby, and he gets shot while he's distracted.
No, the thing collapses, isn't it? And
Gets
his
his hands
hands.
off.
Oh, that's right.
hands-
Yeah,
Yeah.
Reggie closes the portal and it severs the tall man's hands, but then his hands turn into like Evil Dead 2 hands, right?
Mm.
yeah.
No,
Little face like a
you're,
hands.
you're forgetting the beat where Tim looks at the hands and they've shed their skin like a snake, and it's like, where have they gone? And they've turned into a creature. And this bit actually harkens back to the fly creature in Phantasm 1.
Yeah.
But also with a soupçon of Ash's hand in Evil Dead 2, I would say. It's a mix up of
Shouty little,
Going
bitey
for
little
bloody
mouths.
Reggie as well. Just going for Reggie. Not interested in anyone else. Just going up his
But
leg.
also, it also gets up Reggie's nose, literally.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Oh,
it?
yeah,
Like,
that was
It's the bit where it called.
and then up Reggie's trousers like a ferret, where remember Rocky comes in with another kind of.
And he goes,
moan.
I got it. I can handle it. I can handle it. And she's like, no.
Yeah, that was close. She's like, to what?
Yeah. That was close. Lots of ball jokes in this. So yeah, they fight.
Tim shoots it with a hand 6 times, gets it all 6.
Tim's answer
Yeah.
to everything is shoot it, and to be fair, it works for him, doesn't it?
If you're
No,
that good at
but
shooting, that's
that
what
whole
you do.
kind of hand monster scene is actually really fun. I think it's a really
Yeah,
great.
the hand monster's great.
Yeah. Also,
So-
nice visual effects stuff and kind of crazy surreal things with the little creature head coming out of
Yeah,
it.
I love how they have little mouths as well, and they scuttle like they're still hands. So the finger, that they don't become legs; they are still hand
In
shaped.
fact, but when Rocky does knife it at the end through Reggie's trousers, I mean, his trousers must have been quite roomy when she pulls it out. Though.
Yeah.
It's like a small chicken.
Well, MC Hammer would have been big at the time, so And don't worry,
What,
because
what
if Reggie's,
size were Reggie's trousers? Is the question we need
I mean,
to ask.
don't worry if his trousers have been ruined by being stabbed. Don't worry because he has packed an entire wardrobe change.
I was going to say, what happened to the
The real
race
question
car
though
pajama
is,
bottoms?
did his racing car boxer shorts get damaged in
Yeah.
that transaction?
Well, they'll be in the wash. Obviously, he's not going to wear the same outfit twice. He hasn't just he's packed his entire life in this for this journey.
When he's put in the back of the trunk of the Hemi, they should have shown all of his spare clothes, shouldn't they?
Yeah, there's hardly any room in here. There are so many clothes.
Dirty washing.
So they decide the best way to evade the Toolman is to go to the place he will least expect.
The place where he is.
Yeah, he'll never think to look
Expect
for
us
us
to be
here.
next door. All right.
They could
He'll
have
never
really
suspect us turning up there.
They could have really Scooby-Dooed him and gone, "Hello, health inspector." We go, "I'm so sorry, I'm not up to code. Can you give me some time?"
So yeah, they go to a large mausoleum in the city of Bolton, and they also discover a cryonics facility, and that's where Mike says, "Toolman bloody hates cold," and Reggie says, "You think you're telling me that before?"
Oh, actually, guys, one thing we missed a bit. You missed the big car, the zombie car
Oh,
sequence.
Car chase, of
yeah.
course.
Because I think you've got to talk about the combi.
Is this on the way to the
Yeah,
base?
because
Right?
that's on the way to where they're going to kind of outwit the tall man by turning up where he is. But the zombie car chase sequence has the amazing,
Triple flip.
the pink hearse stunt, which was stuntman Bob Ivy, and it's technically one of the longest pipe ramp spins ever done. That was 160 feet, but I think they beat it in Phantasm IV.
Oh wow!
So it's an
Just so you know,
amazing,
yeah,
it's an amazing car chase.
yeah, that's an actual stunt. So that whole hearse was driven by stuntman Bob Ivy, and when it hits the thing, that's a pipe ramp which throws down a canister and it launches it. And if you look at it, it's a shot in slow motion. It literally spins in the air about 6 or 7 times, and that's like 160 foot down the road. It's actually an incredible stunt for a film like this. And Bob Ivy got in touch with Don Coscarelli because he was a Phantasm fan and he wanted to be part of the series. So he then used him in the fourth film. He plays one of the demon cop, but that's another story. So anyway, it's just. But
we don't want to miss
that whole chase with the Home Alone gang, zombie Home Alone gang, is kind of funny because that's their first reappearance as zombies.
Oh yeah, of course. That's good.
So they're back as zombies, but they managed to sort of not definitively destroy them, but lose them for now, right?
Yeah. For now, but also they obviously have the same plan. Let's go to that mausoleum that everyone's not going to go to.
What's everyone doing here? So they go, and they, for dramatic reasons, all split up.
But also, we don't know how they get there because their car has been totally destroyed and blown up as well. So
There's a deleted scene where they're just walking.
Yeah, so this is where Mike does say the tall man dislikes cold, and Reggie's like, "Why you think of telling me that before?" He hates the temperatures dropping.
I don't understand how he got that from a flashback from the first film where Reggie's opening the ice cream van and he goes, because I thought, he likes the cold because he's dead, but
yeah. But originally, when I saw it, I thought that as well.
Yeah,
Aaron, because I think it's a great moment because it's almost like he's enjoying the chill.
Yeah.
And I think that's visually how it reads. But there are some deleted scenes from the original Phantasm where he was exploring this idea of the cold, and it's something that he didn't go with in the end. But I still read it that he enjoys this kind of a funereal blast, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of like he, at least from my, like you were saying, my perspective was he was enjoying it. It was like he was taking it in.
But Don, apparently it was supposed to be for him because he was exploring, because there was a whole load of alternative endings that Don was trying out on Phantasm, the first one. Some of which get seen later, the hanging tree sequences in part 4, which obviously
spoilers.
I mean, what we see here from Jodie's memory, maybe what he's done here is heard hooves and said zebra, not horses. It might be that the tall man hates ice cream. He's no good at lactose because it's Reggie's ice cream truck that's being opened. He goes,
of course, the tall man doesn't like vanilla.
So he'd be like,
but has he ever tried it?
Gotta try everything once.
It's a delicious treat, but I really mustn't. I'll be backed up.
Yeah. Oh, I really want to rock it. No, I can't. Yeah.
Oh, he's got screwballs. Come on. No, Tallman, you said you don't need treats every day.
So
Be treat-wise. Come on, we've got to fit into these suits.
Sorry,
Jodie-
Ben. He doesn't like the cold.
He
So
doesn't like
that's
the
Oh,
it.
cold.
Ben, yeah, we
He
went on
doesn't
that.
like the cold. Yeah. That is when they get attacked by the undead looters. Have we done? Did you do that already? When he's talking, and
No,
then
they all split up. Jodie's having a conversation with his brother while he's having a sleep.
yeah, in the psychic link, and that is where Jodie explains that the Tall Man is amassing an army to conquer dimensions. And then we see the Tall Man encasing the brains of his victims into spheres. Don't we?
That's
Yeah,
cool.
he turns
That's
the
a, that's a
bodies
really
into
cool
like
bit.
instinct-driven like servants, and he turns their brains into killers in little
Yeah.
robot ball bodies.
And then he senses their presence and recaptures Mike. You'd be fuming, wouldn't you, if you're Mike? I just got free, for God's sake.
You lot were meant to be on watch. I was the only one sleeping.
Jake, did that not remind you of Touch of Cloth though a little bit when it's meant to be like a, I don't know if you guys have seen a Touch of Cloth, but it's that bit with the CCTV in Touch of Cloth where it's like go for the bag, rummage through like a junkie and run down the stairs and whatever. But it's meant to be like he's showing him something in like a vision, and then the tall man spots him and it's like quick, go for the bag like a junkie, and he spotted you, quick run. He even does say to him, get out of there. Like, how is he meant to get out of there? He's asleep. It's a dream. Like,
Yeah.
I'm in a vision. Help!
I'm showing.
Vision, which way do I go?
Yeah, so, but like I said, but this is where Reggie's, his not dream, sort of sex dream turns into his reality, where he gets the old zombie girl, giving him
Yeah.
giving him head, literally.
God.
And you've got the nice black tongue shot, which is kind of like a nice little another motif for poor old Reg.
Yeah, he's got his eyes closed, and then he starts getting a gobby, and he thinks, "Ah, yes, that person who's rejected me a couple of times has come round to it." And then
Has finally decided in a mausoleum that they're actually up for it.
Oh no, it's not. It's the girl that tried to mug me, who's now a zombie. Damn.
Damn it.
But it's a nice makeup on her. That
yeah,
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Oh, you got the old, and that one actually part two tongue that comes out as well. That's nice.
Yeah.
so he is being attacked there. They will make sure that we get the male and female characters fighting each other in
Yeah.
gender equal fights shortly.
Yeah.
But so he's been captured by them, and then
Tim's
big-
been captured by Rufus.
the big
and
muscle man, yeah, he gets Tim.
Well, before that, sorry, just want to point out something that really sort of annoyed me was Tim was sitting in a coffin with Rocky and he's eating one bean at a time with a knife.
well, no,
I'm thinking, what's that
I
about?
I think the fact is, obviously, maybe they only had one tin on that day, but it is the one bean moment, which
The
is
one
actually
bean
quite-
moment.
Yeah.
Where it's
But
like,
then again, I suppose a very large kind of knife isn't the best thing to eat beans with.
I dare you to get more than one bean on the
would
end of
have
it.
a little fork, the little kind of like the fork attachment would have been, or the spoon attachment
Or
would have been
spork.
better. But because it looks cooler to eat with a knife, it's
yeah.
quite a large bean though.
Yeah, it was a really big bean,
The
wasn't
big
it?
butter bean.
It's bigger than a regulation Heinz bean. So obviously an American-sized bean.
Special
is a-
American
is a-
sized bean.
Yeah, what variety was that? That wasn't the
Big-
57
big-
variety.
That's the
big
58th,
bean.
the mythical.
58th variety.
I don't believe Reggie Bannister packed pajamas, but not some cutlery.
but was it a bean or was it a ball?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
Sorry,
someone wants to get those. The Tom
No,
wants to
you've got to remember
condense some
that,
of these
but-
bloody beans.
But Reggie's not there. He's having his getting his gobby head at that point with the zombie.
Yeah.
guy. So it splits them all up. They've all chosen separate places to have a little snooze around the mausoleum, haven't they?
Yeah, I'm just gonna sleep with my back to this door. Okay, good night.
Do we stick together? No.
Yeah, but
You wanna
but let's split up so we can get attacked by more people. I mean, that's really what
Are
happens.
you gonna
and-
stay awake? No, I'm gonna have a vision. Okay, fine.
Who are you going to get? I'm going to get Rocky. She gets attacked by the male zombie guys, doesn't she? So
Yeah,
Yeah, and Tim's like, I'm going to eat this one bean.
yeah. I'm gonna go and put the rubbish in the fridge.
When
Yeah,
Mike warns Tim at one point in I guess another vision about the thousands of spheres he witnessed.
Yeah, he goes. There are thousands of them. Warn Reggie. No time to elaborate.
Thousands of what? Bye. When does Rocky end up fighting Edna? I think that's
Right
next.
now.
Right now,
Yeah.
yeah.
right now, yeah.
Helps Reggie, fights Edna.
get away from him, bitch.
Get
Yeah.
away from him, bitch. Tim gets freed by the Jody sphere, and then runs into Rufus and Henry, and then it's Rufus and Henry versus Jodie Sphere and Reggie.
And we do have the Jodie Spear does the corkscrew head off thing,
That's
which
cool.
is
Yeah,
That's really cool.
which is a fun gore gag because
Twists his head off.
yeah, but it's death by Black Sphere. That one.
This could all have been avoided if they went anywhere else. Why did they decide to go to
Let's
the
go to his
mausoleum?
base.
He'll never expect it.
But don't worry, he's not infallible because the tall man, despite the fact that in every other brief encounter he's had with our goodies, he's able to telekinesis them almost effortlessly, just like raises an eyebrow and flicks them across the room. Well, he's so busy drilling into Jodie's head to free him from this this fleshy prison that he finds himself in. He does it quite so. He's there drilling, and we see the guys have time to like DuckTales, Huey, Dewey, and Louie style stack up round the corner of the door and look and say, he's bloody drilling his head. So they were able to nip off, dip a big spike into the cryogenic fluid, and then run in and lance him.
Yeah, but you've got to remember by that point, Tim is literally full of bean.
Yeah.
Or I couldn't possibly eat anything else. I had a bean earlier.
I've eaten a bit too much, but
he's got the fast energy that only Bean can provide, and they pierce him with the spike, and then force him into a walk-in freezer like he's a velociraptor and shut the door.
Along with the rubbish from earlier.
Well, no. To be fair, the cryogenics thing is actually teed up a bit earlier. So
yeah, they say he didn't like that. So they dip it in. They've imbued it with his weakness to give it 2 times effectiveness, and then they stab him with it, and then they look through the window while he it's worked on him. Look, he's bloody frozen, isn't he? And then I love this sequence, Jake. You mentioned it earlier. There's a golden sphere. Jasper Carrots himself comes emerging from.
But you've got to remember. But we saw a golden sphere first in Phantasm II, but this time this is the tall man sphere, which once again for people when we see Mike and with the golden eyes, we know that that's the thing in his head. And when he lifts up, he's got the gold. So the idea of this golden sphere is a slightly higher, elevated, version of the normal sphere.
Yeah. So a golden sphere comes out, bursts into the mausoleum. Unfortunately, not great braking distance. One of his own zombie people gets all in her face.
That's a great shot. It's just a perfectly round circle.
Yeah. But that's also where you've got the zombie Edna again who gets like a rocky, but you get that beauty. Yeah, it's that it's actually a beautiful surreal image.
Perfect.
The sphere going through the head and leaving the hole. It's like a surrealist painting, and like I say, at its finest, Phantasm has these images which stay with you, and I think that's another absolutely great image.
Absolute belter of an
and
image.
Also it's got the kind of Del Boy fullback on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's got the perfect, vertical, 90 degrees fullback.
Imagine that's the Adam Monster roughly falls over.
In fact, that's what inspired John Sullivan in that episode of Only Fools and Horses. Have you seen Phantasm III?
Well, yeah, it didn't only just inspire soap operas, it also inspired British
everything.
British, yeah. Horror is the true.
It's a great moment though. It's a great shot. I love it. So
she comes down, and then the Tallman's ready for a lot of things. Is he ready for Reggie Bannister to have a plunger?
No, he definitely isn't. Which once again, it's a moment of genius in terms of a weapon of choice against a flying sphere. Though it's inspired, isn't it? Because instead of something clever, you've got a fucking plunger. It's like yes, it's so right when he catches it on the plunger.
Yeah, and I mean this is the tall man's base, so he would have bought that plunger in.
Yeah, well, no, the plunger could have just been there in the toilet. No one's thought about using it, but Reggie resourcefully has thought, what would be good for catching a sphere with? And
I don't think there was a cutscene with the tall man going to the same department store.
No, there was
There
was a cutscene where Reggie backed
plunger,
up the toilet.
$22.
He backed up the toilet, and he had to do a bit of plunging work.
Yeah, the plunger. Oh, the thing is about condensing these lads is they absolutely wreck my toilet. Come
down here and come some plunge some of this fucking shit.
If I was the tall man, after you've like got all like the gun cut, this body's had enough. I'm wiping this one out. Get me in the cryo room.
Yeah, I'm gold balling it, boy.
Yeah, the second you.
But once again, with the plunger scene though, once again that also harkens back to the insect scene in Phantasm 1, because there's like 3 of them trying to, and they're doing the great acting of the
Wrestling. Yeah.
But what's great, it's also got the great thing where the little saw blades come out and start like it's actually really fun and imaginative. I love the different spheres, and that one with the circular saws on the side. It's great.
They eventually wrestle him into the cryo things that are like, get in there, mate. That's where you are. You're chucked in the thing, and this is where I guess we see Jodie has discovered he's got a golden ball in his head.
Yeah, and that's the Walt Disney cameo, the floating head.
Yeah, Walt Disney's in it.
Well, that was like just going back to when I first watched Phantasm 3. That was genuinely a moment for me, because I was like, no, he was a ball all along. That's insane. And
bloody ball all along.
Yeah, it just like, it was, I didn't see it coming, and all the signs were probably there, through exposition and stuff. But when Jodie discovers the ball in his head, I was just like, oh. And then I love the little bit where he sees it and he's like, no. And then he does this. Oh, if I just do that, no one's going to see it. It's fine. Pat it down, no one will see it.
Get the fringe down.
Yeah. But to me, some of the most haunting shots of the film are that moment, and then the moment when he comes out later on, and his eyes are, and he says, I'm cold, and it's like there's something really poignant about that. Once again, it's that thing that Phantasm does well. It goes from this extreme kind of fun to this actually quite haunting thing,
and it doesn't feel jarring, does it? Really?
Yeah.
No, it kind of fits. It makes sense somehow.
But I think that's because Phantasm, like I say, it allows its narrative to go between extreme dream logic back to, but there's always it retains. I think it can shift gear in a way that a lot of films can't, because we're not confined by the normal rules in a Phantasm film.
Yeah, really grounds itself back in this, like from fantasy to this grounding reality. Because regardless of what happens to him physically, he is still like, he's had some revelation about himself. This is news to him as well, right?
But when Michael Baldwin plays that with the gold sphere, and then afterwards when he comes out and he knows that he can't be saved, there's something really haunting and really sad about it. He plays it. I think he plays that. Those moments are played really, really well, I would say. Just
comes out with his golden eyes
from a performance perspective as well. Like, see, and that's, like I say, that kind of slight melancholic feeling is what that moves over into Phantasm 4 that you've yet to see.
A sad departure. He sort of says to his friends, "Oh, you've got to stay away from me." But his brother is there to say, "Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. But we've got to go now. See you later."
Yeah, that's a bit of a weird moment where it's like, don't believe everything you see, and it's like,
excuse me?
Yeah, what? Like,
but then again, in Phantasm 4, Ice Cream Man, it's all in his head.
Spoilers, Jake. Spoilers.
Oh, sorry. So it's set in Angus Scrimm Phantasm style.
Yeah.
So the danger is over. Immediate danger is over. But does Rocky just go and say, "Right, see you later"?
Well, she said she can't handle it anymore. She didn't sign up for fighting the undead.
I've had her guts for this.
Yeah, but she is the one Phantasm actress that survives the entire film. It's only all the other ones. Normally they end up getting killed, or they get killed at the beginning of the next.
She was
one.
like, "You're not killing me off at the start of the next one. I am leaving."
Yeah, and now I believe she does come back in Phantasm Ravager Part 5, but like I said, I've only seen that once. So, but she does re-pop up, I believe. Is that right, Aaron?
Yeah, she does. But I was just thinking,
she has a story in fiction.
She does have a story in fiction, but I've not read it yet, and I don't know if that comes before or after Phantasm 3.
Yeah, I've read it, but I can't really remember. I remember every story was great in that book, though. So check it out. It's definitely gonna give you more with these characters. Tim reports that Mike tried to warn him. There's thousands of something. There's thousands of them apparently.
Muppets.
Thousands of them.
There's barely thousands of them.
Zulus.
And they get
his favourite film.
I mean, there is that kind of low shot where they try and have about maybe 50 to 100 spheres behind the tall man.
You'd notice that as well, wouldn't you?
But that's the point when Don. But Don said, he was restricted because all of that stuff has to be done with physical effects at that point.
Yeah.
to create but whereas in Phantasm IV, they then start having some CG shots where you see at the beginning they have like a kind of sphere rush shot where you actually do see thousands of them. But in that one, that's the most they could really do on set, which is, well, you're coming up to the bit at the end now. But one thing I should tell you guys before, Don had originally written a definitive ending to Phantasm for Phantasm III, and it was going to end quite differently. Instead of, the bit with the cryogenic when they actually put it into the freezer, and they shot bits of this and their storyboards for it as well. Originally, Reggie and Tim were going to take the gold sphere, the tall man sphere. They were going to take it up to Alaska, and they were going to bury it in the ice. And they were going to put Rip, the tall man, and basically would be buried in the ice and forever confined in the cold. Now they shot some bits of the sequence where they were in parkas and they had like icicle stuff on their eyebrows, but they didn't have enough money to ever do it justice. And also Don wasn't sure that he wanted to give it a definitive end. But there is, like I say, on Phantasmagoria again, there's some of the storyboard bits for that, but they did actually shoot that. I think that deleted scene might have appeared in a later release.
That's cool. So if they'd never got 4 off the ground, then that could have been a considered ending.
So but Don, he said he had written an ending and then decided that it would probably be better not to be definite. But it may have also been a budget thing where it might have become too expensive. But they did start shoot. There's bits where they shot with Reggie Bannister and Tim in their parkas in a cold environment doing the burial thing. So that's
so cool.
Yeah. So
I think cool.
Yeah, I think that deleted scene might be on the new release, the Arrow one, possibly.
That's super cool.
Yeah, Aaron may have, but have a look out for that. But that's it's interesting for people into Phantasm lore once again, because the what could have been. But Don then decided not to do that, or money stopped him from doing it, and then I think he gave Phantasm IV a better ending for me anyway.
So this is the ending we get that is officially filmed. So Tim goes, he said something about thousands or something. Anyway, I won't be looking up right now. I'll just be sticking my head in this here fridge. And when he comes back out, poor Reggie, glued to the wall by
thousands
at least of balls.
At least thousands.
At least
got his balls all over him.
13 heavy balls pressing him against the wall. Devastating.
They says, "Here, Tim, get out of here. Like, I'm just going to reach my grenade. Not yet." In the start of the next one.
But you can't stop Tim's plucky spirit, because he immediately goes done as if he's going to start shooting every sphere.
I'm going to shoot all of these.
Even though I've only got 6 shots on this.
Somehow.
Tim is not be fucking discouraged, though, is he?
I wouldn't put it past him. I reckon he'd do it.
But unfortunately, he does
Give him a
get
chance.
yanked out the window.
He gets tall-manned.
Yeah, he gets tall-manned.
But once again, it's the old call back to Phantasm, the first one with Jodie being pulled through the mirror at the end, isn't it? It's a replication of that shot.
What does
I may have said
except
this...
it's one of the masked gravedigger characters that actually takes him in this one.
Yeah, I may have said this in our previous episode, but I feel the tall man will have been disproportionately thwarted by from the time that these movies were made, by the subsequent invention of double and then triple glazing. He loves punching through a single pane of glass.
So as the technology of Windows evolved, he would have had a lot more trouble taking people in those final shots. It would have been
like in a modern film, in like a house with like an A-rated EPC certificate.
They would be a lot safer from him.
He's just going to give them a slight fright as he bonks the window, and you'll go.
But he would also sort of end up breaking
his
fingers or something like
yeah.
Oh, that really hurts.
Yeah, the tall man just not having to like try and like trick his way into your house with like an insurance scam. Show me your ID, the tall man.
Show me a ball.
But they've got him, and that is the end of Phantasm III.
That's the end of Phantasm III.
But it's never the end, though, is it?
No. Or is it just the beginning? Join us next week. The EastEnders drums go.
Yeah.
And then it's the music, but it's just the lonely roads on Reggie's map.
So before we rate the film, let's play a little game called Taller Than the Tall Man. Of course, I can involve Don Coscarelli in this
See, I already
because
did that
Yeah, I'm
one.
sorry for spoiling that earlier. I
it's
didn't
all
mean
right. It doesn't matter. It's fine. I
You
You
should
think
got
you
one
do
out.
think I
have
might have
remembered.
upset you though.
Angus Scrimm. Angus Scrimm, 1.93 meters tall. We're doing it in meters.
Oh,
So I'm
can
gonna
you
give
do
it.
it? Can we do it in feet? Because I'm not good with meters.
Well, that
Can
would
you
Can anyone
translate it all?
convert it in their head?
no. Everyone convert it in their head. Higher or lower. This is simple. It's as simple as that. Higher or lower. So
The units don't really matter.
the
That's
units
fine.
don't really matter now. So I'm going to give you the name of a famous, well, not necessarily famous for being tall, but surprisingly, you'd be surprised how tall some of these people are. So first person will be the Bristolian man who played the physical appearance of Darth Vader, David Prowse. Was he taller than the tall man?
Higher.
Yeah, I've got to go taller than the tall
I'll
man.
go taller. Higher.
Taller. He's taller.
He is taller, 1.98 meters.
Also, a good thing for Star Wars fans, just in case you don't realise this, you know that Dave Prowse spoke with a broad West Country accent. All right, there, you're right there, my lovers.
Yeah.
You know, his nickname on set was
I'm your dad.
his nickname on set was Darth Farmer.
It was Darth Farmer.
Darth Farmer.
Have you seen the clips where it's him?
The Force is
talking on
stronger.
set?
Listen.
Where it's him talking on set before they overdubbed it. Have you seen those clips?
It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's
It's
fantastic.
amazing. Yeah.
But of course, it was right. He was never gonna. They were never gonna use his voice. I mean, if he believed that, he was deluded because
Here,
a
Luke,
West
don't
Country
feed the
accent is
Panthers.
naturally comedic.
So
I thought I recognised your foul stench.
No disintegrations.
I'm not going to do higher or lower based on the last person I said. It's always higher or lower.
Always
than
versus the
Angus
tall
Scrimm.
man.
So Angus Scrimm, 1.93 meters, is WWE wrestler Hulk Hogan taller than Angus Scrimm?
This is a
Smaller.
question for you, there, isn't it?
He's shorter.
Shorter.
Shorter,
Yeah.
Jake?
So lower. Do you mean lower then?
Yeah.
Shorter.
He's shorter.
Lower.
He's taller. He's 2.01 meters tall.
Oh, come on! You're supposed to be the
no.
wrestling fan.
Yeah, but we don't get excited for height. Every
Apart from the big show, exclusively for the
Or
big show.
Andre the Giant or whatever. It's the tall man.
Tall man. Okay, next one. Gwendolyn Christie, also in Star Wars and Game of Thrones, as she's referred to in Game of Thrones as the big woman. Is she taller or smaller than Angus Scrimm?
This is Phasma, right? This is the Phantasm
I think
inspired.
she's- I think she's taller.
I think she's possibly virtually the same height.
Okay.
I'm gonna go shorter.
At the
She's
party.
shorter, 1.91 meters.
She's still the tall woman.
She's still the tall woman. Next up, Sacha Baron Cohen. Ali G. Who else?
The devil.
The Devil, Mephisto now as well. Is Angus Scrimm, is he taller or smaller than Mr. Angus Scrimm at 1.93 meters?
I'll go shorter again.
I'm going to go taller.
I want to go shorter.
There is no way Borat is taller than the tall man.
Oh, Borat, yeah, of course. He is shorter, 1.91
yes.
meters. There we
See?
go. Let's go for another Star Wars one. Peter Mayhew, Chewbacca.
Oh, he's way
himself,
taller.
Oh, he's
Way
much
taller.
taller.
Yeah, taller.
By a mile.
taller. 2.21 meters.
Yeah.
Peter Mayhew.
I can't do the
Massively
noise, but
taller.
Peter Mayhew would say he'd say that noise and it would translate underneath.
Can I do a
With
question?
Smallman.
Question for you then, Ben? Same question, but if you don't know who I'm talking about, then I'm not going to qualify it. But Ed Gale, shorter or taller than the tall man?
Who is Ed Gale?
Ed
Well,
Gale.
he's in Phantasm II, but if you can't remember who he is, he's in Phantasm. Taller or shorter than the tall man, Ed Gale?
Do you know the answer?
Of course, I know the answer because I wouldn't ask you the question.
Yeah, but I wasn't
Just gonna
sure.
back it up.
What would you ask?
I wasn't sure if you're going to Google it or not.
Because this is your.
Let's
This is
say-
your cue. You've got a 50-50 chance. If I tell you who he plays, then you'll know straight away. But I'm going taller or shorter.
Shorter.
Yes, definitely. He plays the dwarf in Phantasm II.
I thought that was where you were going. I thought that was
he
where
also
you were
plays.
going.
He also plays Chucky in Child's Play,
Oh, okay.
and he also plays Howard the Duck in Howard the Duck.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, so quite a bit shorter.
Quite a bit shorter.
Yeah, Jake, I'm going to go with shorter on that one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
sure.
think you should. Yeah, it's
Shorter.
safe. It's
Good
safe.
answer,
If you
everyone.
knew who Ed Gale was, you would have known. But I'm just saying, but it's Phantasm related.
Okay. Last one. I've mentioned him already on the show, but Idris Elba. Is he taller or shorter than Angus Scrimm?
I'm gonna say shorter.
I'm
Once
gonna go
again,
shorter.
I've probably about this. I think he's probably a similar height, but I'd say similar.
He is shorter, 1.89 meters, but still pretty tall. Only
Ah,
only only 4 centimeters, isn't it?
Yeah.
Um,
But as I say, he's a virtually the same kind of height.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've got one for you very quickly, Ben. If you've unless
Yes,
you've got any
please.
left. You
No, no.
mentioned him earlier. Is the tallman taller or shorter than the seaman, David Seaman?
Oh, then the Seaman, David Seaman.
oh wow.
I would
It's-
say he's. I'm going to say taller. I reckon it's pretty close, but
Taller than the
taller.
tall man.
Uh,
Jake
yeah,
Aaron.
yeah. Taller.
I'd say he's taller, but that could be his gloves.
Ponytail.
I'll go taller.
All of us saying taller.
You're all technically correct. It's a trick question. They're exactly the same height.
That's what I've been going for in the last.
Also
wow.
1.93.
That's why I thought it was perfect when it said that Don Coscarelli was 1.93 because I was like, yeah, but there we go. Okay,
Amazing.
that was fun. You all win. Well done.
Everyone's
Hey.
a winner, baby. That's
Congratulations.
no lie.
Okay, we'll get you guys back for Phantasm 4, of course. Let's do that soon. Where can our listeners find both of you online to keep up to speed with your new projects and everything else you're working on, as we mentioned at the top of the show?
You can find me on OnlyFans selling pictures of my feet to raise money for Employee of the Dead.
I owe you, by the way. Sorry, I'll send the payment over.
That's fine. That's
ASAP.
fine. The first toe is free.
That's the ugliest one.
Yeah, I know.
It's only going to get better from here.
I call him Edgar. No, I am on. Seriously, I am on the YouTube with the Cucumber channel, and you can find any and all information on my social medias on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, or X, if you want to call it that.
We'll put the links in the show notes. How about you, Jake?
Well, I'm on Facebook and Instagram, but in terms of my work, obviously, people can sort of watch it on different platforms, or whether it's on, Brighton Blu-ray or DVD, or there's different ways of finding what I've done. Obviously, we've got the Razor Blade Smile 4K restoration coming up. If we do something special on that, we can tell people. But it really depends who releases stuff. So with the Tremolo stuff, it was Severin Films. With Razor Blade, it was Severin and Nucleus. So it's more about I don't know, social media. I'm social media to follow me. I'm not quite so sure, because social media I'm a bit inept at, but I try my best.
All the rest of us will point you at Jake's stuff.
Yeah, follow your actual films, which are far, that's far more important than social media channels. I completely forgot we didn't even rate the film.
You got to rate the bloody
Oh,
film.
you've got to rate
Don't
it.
let
Bloody
them get
film,
away
yeah.
with it.
Oh.
A to F, pluses and minuses allowed. Rate good or rate bad. How would you like to rate Phantasm 3? Anyone jump in? Who's
Is it out of 10 or is it out of 5?
A to F?
Classic
Pluses
school
and
report
minuses.
style, Jake.
Yeah.
A to
Oh,
F.
sorry, A to F. Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah. Then
Pluses and minuses allowed as well.
I would give it, because it's like I've told you earlier, it's my fourth favorite, but not because I don't like the Phantasm films. I'd give it like a C plus, but almost a B minus.
Okay. I was gonna go for a B because I really enjoyed this. I had a lot of fun with it. I remember Phantasm II. Didn't enjoy it as much as I like this one. So far, my series ranking, this is probably going to go second to the first one. Again, we haven't watched 4 and 5 yet. So, yeah, I really enjoyed it. So, a B for me.
You go ahead.
All right, okay. Because I've seen 4 and 5 and Phantasmagoria, which I do technically count because it is the definitive documentary as well. So I want to throw that one in there as well. I'm giving this one a solid C.
Solid
I
dig.
am going to round things up with a B minus. I think that's consistent with what I gave the other one. It's been a while. Don't quote me. Again, for me, lovely, consistent bit of series work here. Probably need to revisit the first one because we didn't talk to the pair of you about it, and I don't have so many strong memories about it. So I am really locked into 2 and 3 as a duology here. I need to go
Oh,
back
right.
to the
Oh, that's
original.
great. Oh no, that's really great. This, you're watching it unfold in a slightly different way.
And
you
if
know.
anyone who listens as well
No,
knows, I
but
love stupid shit.
Phantasm as a series of films though is like an A because it's the whole. I love the Phantasm, but you're asking me to differentiate between
Yeah,
them.
you
So
gotta.
yeah, because it sounds cruel to give a Phantasm film like a B minus or a C, but the point is for me the A has to be the absolute best.
Gotta be the pinnacle. But yeah, I always think like there's always room for these things as well. Like you can see how much it was on a particular viewing, it might change. I think
Oh
whenever I
no, no,
go back, it
but
might change
the
again.
point with all Phantasm films are great fun to view. So it's always going to be a great experience to watch a Phantasm film. There's nothing when you like rating somebody's film is always really difficult because it implies a judgment. But in terms of entertainment, this film is completely entertaining from start to finish. And I
Very
would
true.
I mean, I watch Phantasm films on a regular basis, so I'm always happy to throw it on. It's not like it's not like a disappointing film in any way if you like Phantasm.
Yeah, and it's one of those things as well. Everyone's ratings are the same. I will tell you, I absolutely do lally for any number of D minus movies.
I will say this though, Andy, we will be when we do 4, we will be revisiting 1.
Yeah, so we
So
have to. We need to watch that for my homework.
yeah,
Oh, you need
you will
to
have
see 1. Yeah, you need to see 1.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll rewatch 1 so it's fresh in my mind.
and then going to 4.
But also you can't really understand the whole shape of it if you haven't watched 1. Yeah.
Okay, I'll make sure we're ready. Make sure we're prepped. Bring us home,
Nice.
Ben.
There we go then. Bring us home. Thanks everybody for listening to this mammoth episode.
What I've
Phantasm
learned is
2
we
was
should
a
hang out more because we've got lots to say to each other.
Yeah, we do. If you enjoyed the show, become a patron at patreon.com/horror hangout. Thanks to Taj Easton for our theme music. Thanks to Acast for hosting the show. Please consider giving us a rating or review. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Threads, we're on YouTube, or go to horrorhangout.co.uk for everything in one place. Next week, we're talking I Know What You Did Last Summer 2025 with Alice and Liz, the hosts of Not Another Teen podcast. So looking forward to that. But yeah, looking forward to catching up again soon. Jake and Aaron, thanks again for joining us. It's been a hell of a good time and a lot of fun. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you,
Good
guys.
night.
Cheers.
Thanks for having us on again. Love it.
We'll see you next time. Take care.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.